Steel boots stomping, crashing the floor. Two wild Yinzers kicking through the door. Loud like a jag-off at a pins game fight. Brace yourself, this ride ain't polite. Two Dum Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice. Tales from the burg with a hint of mayhem. Pierogi powered, nothing can constrain them. Knocking back stories like an icy cold brew. You never know what these two might spew. Two Dum Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice. From the burg with a hint of mayhem. Pierogi powered, nothing can constrain them. Knocking back stories like an icy cold brew. You never know what these two might spew. Two Dum Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice. Rivers collide where the laughs always flow. Black and gold thunder everywhere they go. The madcap kings breaking every mold. With two Dum Yinzers, the stories don't get old. Two Dum Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice.
Yeah, what it do, everybody. Welcome back to the show. This is episode 933 of the Two Dumb Yinzers. I want to say to everybody today, welcome back to the show. Michael, how you be?
I'm great. I'd be doing a whole heck of a lot better if I actually had our thumbnail set correctly for the show. So, yeah. But other than that, I'm doing great.
As you can see on the screen, either RB is here or we deflated Derpy. We took all the air out of him and put him on below. Guys, everybody, how you doing this morning, RB?
I can't complain. How about you?
I can't complain either, man. Always looking forward to RB. The guy knows so much about the draft, and I don't. This is just definitely an area that I don't get into, and I know that I need help sometimes because people know a lot more about it than I do. Can't wait to hear what RB has to say. I'm doing well, brother. Glad to see you today. Welcome to the show. A few things before we do get started, Mike. I want to throw it back a little bit. Probably let's say 4-5 years for this next story. I read something yesterday and I thought it was interesting enough to bring up on the show. So just bear with me for a moment. Take it back to the old days, like season 1, season 2, when Pornhub, when we had a little conversation about the step porn. You recall this way early on in the show. I said, Mike, what is the deal with step porn? Why is everybody into step porn? The stepdads, the stepmom, the stepdaughter, so on and so forth. Well, Mike, not only am I asking this question, in Europe, the United Kingdom, they are talking and working to outlaw step porn because of its incestual suggestion. But it's not incestual if it's step. I mean, that's the point of it being step. And you know what? If you watch step porn, they go on and on at least 30 times each video. Oh, step. They make sure they let you know that it's step.
Yeah.
You know, and I'll be right back, stepdad. I'll be, you know what I mean? So, like Europe, the United Kingdom, Taterville, they are trying to do away with step porn, and that's what's going on in the world today.
I kind of get where it comes from. I find that shit creepy. The step. Oh, help me, step bro. Oh, help me, step.
I don't at all.
I find that creepy and weird.
No, because
But
they're hot shit that isn't even related to you. How's that even? How's that
what
weird?
if you grew up with her from like a young age? You know, it's
Well,
more or less like your sister. So,
but it's not.
hey, whatever floats your boat. Hey, I don't kink shame, but
See,
I
I thought.
will judge. I won't kink shame, but I'm going to judge you.
See, I thought that the Europeans were all free and liberal, and I just don't understand what the problem is because again, for two reasons, they're not related, and for two, they're not even suggesting that they're related. They are making it very clear that they aren't in their step, and so this is why I'm caught up on this. This is why I wanted to make sure I brought it up on the show because this is the kind of things I find important.
Your porn news.
And so there you go, Mike. The United Kingdom. I'll have to make sure we get on Tater if he comes back. I noticed one thing about Tater, though. He hasn't been coming back since we've been feeling optimistic about the team. After free agency happened, after we brought in some players, Tater Todd has kind of been weaning himself off the show, I've noticed.
He has been. And I also started too when like we told him he has to take the horn dog routine down to an acceptable level.
Yeah.
So both hand in hand, the Steelers, having a great offseason, him not being able to be a horn dog, we kind of cramped his style, and I'm okay with that.
That's a European thing, I guess. I don't know. Welcome back to the show, everybody. This is episode 933, just 30 short days away from the NFL draft. I was just texting the people at Duquesne Pilsner, Mike. I got the text, but I didn't open it. I'm going to do it after the show because I don't want to. And that's another thing. I'm from the olden days. I don't play that leaving people on red shit. I'm going to get back to you when I get back to you. That's just the way that it is. Why? And this has nothing to do with the people at Duquesne Pilsner. Just generally speaking, if I look at one of your messages, I'm going to reply to it when I reply to it. What is the deal? Why are people so hung up on it? You left me on red. Why can't you just respond? Well, maybe I just ain't in the mood to respond. Do I owe you an explanation?
No. No. If I see it and it's urgent, I will get back to you. If it's not urgent and I don't have the mental wherewithal to deal with this conversation, I'm not going to deal with that conversation. I'll get back to you when I get back to you.
Well, that's exactly that. Sometimes you have to be in the mood to talk to certain people, and if you're just not in the mood, you're not going to get on. And I like to focus. I like to try to give everybody my attention.
Yeah.
And if I'm doing three other things, I don't want to open a conversation with you because then it might seem I'm not attention. But that's just again, that's something that the young people do. I don't know what they're hung up on that about, but I think it's because we didn't have that problem.
Yeah,
you got home and you heard your answering machine and you called the person back whenever you were available. But again, at the end of the day. The callback, Mike, leaving somebody on red, that is a cardinal sin apparently these days. So this is where we're heading. There's going to soon be no step porn, and the leaving people on red is going to be very important to the people of the future. But I do want to say welcome back, everybody. Welcome to the board. Welcome to the show. Start with Tortilla here on the terrible board today. Tortilla is saying this. He says, it's a bird, it's a plane, it's 3 Dum Yinzers. I like it. I'm playing. Y'all ain't dumb. Everyone except for Mike is not dumb. I'm very appreciative, and I agree completely, Tortilla. Tortilla, all the way from Sacramento, also says, this tater's been getting too freaky. They had to shut that shit down.
Yeah, he was scaring away all the women.
Steeler freak John, all the way from Las Vegas, he says, isn't step porn BDSM with only redheads that you like? And speaking of redheads, I thought of that as well. You know how that dumb tater tard, Mike, he has this hang up with the Browns? Maybe it's because he's got orange hair. A lot of those people in Ireland have orange hair, and it's just similar to them. They have the orange helmet. They have the brown jerseys. He has the orange hair. He's got the brown teeth. It correlates perfectly, so it makes a lot of sense to me. So again, enough about the tard. Let's move on the board. Chad, what's up, man? Always great seeing our Chad on the terrible board. Chad says this. What's up, Ryan, Mike, and RB? Tortilla says corn on the cob, porn on the pod. There you go. Mike eats his corn on the cob long ways. Chad Schrader says this. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. Welcome to the show, everybody. Welcome back. A lot of things to get into today, Mike. The Pirates are done until the season kicks off on Thursday afternoon at 1:15. They have a four-game series against the Mets to start off the season, then off to Cincinnati. Then they come home to open up at home against the Orioles. Also, the Pittsburgh Penguins back at it today. They host the Colorado Avalanche, but they only have a handful of games left, Mike. The Penguins are 35-19-16 overall. That game is at 7 tonight.
Let's go.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And as long as they stay hot, because they were winning without Crosby and without Malkin.
Yeah.
if they could stay hot and continue on that path, you gotta think that there's at least a chance to win next month. And one other thing, if I have it still, I will grab it. If I don't, I won't, obviously. And I hear it is.
He lost it. Oh no, he found it.
And also, I do want to announce, Mike, the Pittsburgh Passion. Their schedule has been released. That, of course, is our women here in Pittsburgh that play football professionally. Mike, May 2nd, they open up against the Tampa Bay Inferno, and then they on the 9th they play the DC Divas. May 23rd, the Cincinnati Cougars, and then they repeat it over again, Mike, as their season for their 6-game schedule again, also Tampa Bay, DC, and Cincinnati, and that all starts on May 2nd, 2026. So we got all kind of things going on. The UFL starting this Friday, the women starting next month, but you know what? It never is enough when it comes to the Pittsburgh Steelers, guys. Pittsburgh Steelers are king. They rule, as always, and always will. A lot of things to get into today. Of course, the draft is 30 days away. Expert RB on board on staff today. A lot of things to get into with him. I have a lot of questions with him, just of some things that happened the past few days. Kind of want to see how those things correlate to the draft coming up here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. As soon as I grab John here real quick, he says Silicon Valley has everyone conditioned for instant feedback and validation. That is why folks stress without responses. Welcome, everybody. Welcome back. RB, Mike. RB, how you been, dude? You doing all right? Everything going pretty good? I know that you're into. Here's the thing. RB naturally loves the draft, and I love that because he's very on top of him, Mike. All the information that he has, I follow along sometimes with him and Chop, and very impressed. And again, very excited. RB, how you been, brother?
Good, pretty good. How about you?
Pretty good, my man. I have a couple questions before we do get started here. As far as a couple. All right, so this it really isn't draft related, but it kind of sort of is, but it isn't. Yesterday, of course, the news was the small pickup with the guy. His name is Travis Homer. He's the running back special teamer brought over. I think he played for Chicago, Seattle, maybe. Travis Homer. Now, what does this do? What does this do? I read this morning that he's possibly going to be the running back 3. What does this do to Caleb Johnson? And does that hold any truth?
I don't think it does anything for Caleb Johnson at this point at all, but I still wouldn't be surprised if they brought in somebody to compete with him. I hear a lot of people think Johnson is safe because he was a 3rd-round pick, but he has nothing to do with this coaching staff whatsoever, so there's no ties there. And if he's not going to fit what they do, I could see them trying to move him for a later-round pick, if not just outright releasing him after camp. But I don't think the Homer thing has anything at all to do with Caleb Johnson. That's just more of a special teams ace.
Now, do you think this all, and the speculation is, RB, is it all ties back to the mistake from last year in the game against Seattle, and that this might have messed his head up, it messed up his psyche? Is that what's going on? Is that even that much of a possibility? Because I understand people F up, and everybody messes up, and everybody makes mistakes. But is this what's screwing this guy up to actually F up his career in a sense? The little opportunities that he did have after that, he didn't really make much of them. What's your take on that?
I don't think so. I mean, I'm sure it could be tough on him. I don't think that situation was handled even remotely well whatsoever. I remember they came out after the game and in the press conference said, Tomlin came out and said, we can't let this define what he made this season. He can't let this overtake him. Right. And then gave him the ball 2 more times the rest of the season. Well, you just let it define his whole season.
Right.
I just don't think he's a current fit for what they're going to do. I looked at Johnson as one of them guys who distinctly just fits in an outside zone running system.
Right.
I don't think he can run inside zone or gap all that well. So I just don't think he's going to be a fit moving forward.
And that's wild because, again, and as you said, going back to how it was handled, the fact that they kind of treated him like they were treating them the way that they would if they were kind of holding something over your head. But again, that was, week 2 in an 18-week in its entirety altogether. So it's hard to say, but as you're saying, RB, if he doesn't fit, he doesn't fit. And he has no relation to the new coaching staff. Mike, any questions about Caleb Johnson, Travis Homer, any of that?
No, and I'm in line with like RB. bringing in Homer for me, it's the same thing. It does not affect Johnson's standing. What does affect Johnson's standing is like his ability to see if he can adapt to the new offensive scheme, and if he cannot, and if they don't think he will not surprise me if they take a running back. There's some really good running backs in this draft, and he can be easily replaced. You know, it's one thing. Omar Khan and Weedle Shun is like they'll move on from people. You know, they moved on from Kenny Pickett real quick, and he was a first round pick. You know, he was a quarterback, a premium position. This guy's a third round running back. They're a dime a dozen. So I wouldn't be surprised if, you know, if he doesn't make it out of training camp.
Yeah, it's interesting. Again, I was waiting, Mike. I was waiting all last year to see what the big hype was about. I know a lot of people told me a lot of good things about Caleb Johnson last year, and again, yeah, you know, every week in week out, I said that I didn't see it. I'm not saying he's not any good. I'm not saying he can't be successful. I'm just saying, me personally, I'm watching and I'm thinking, all right, where's the burst? Where's the elusiveness? Where's anything? Literally, it just turned into him catching a ball in the kickoff, running it 10 yards back into a couple of defenders, and that was it. And that's all that he basically became throughout the rest of the season. Maybe a carrier or two here and there, but that's ultimately what it was, guys. So I do have some more draft talk to get in. I have some draft talk to get into here in just 1 second. Let's do catch up on the board so we don't get too far behind. John is saying this. Steeler Freak says this. Caleb Johnson doesn't fit the scheme. He's probably gone. He can't catch or block. That is why he is on the bubble, not because of the fuck up. Tortilla says this. Oddly enough, KJ has a speed boost in Madden. I don't know if it's a glitch or if they really put it in there for shits and giggles, but he's fast in the game. Tortilla.
Probably for shits and gigs.
All the way from Sacramento, my man. And John also says this. Rodgers decides offensive players' fate right now. Let's lead this into what some of the news around here is. Yesterday, of course, if you caught I think it was yesterday on the Pat McAfee show, AJ Hawk, Mike, did you catch this? What was said between AJ Hawk about Aaron Rodgers returning?
No, I did not.
Let me pull it up here real quick if I can. AJ Rodgers yesterday on the Pat McAfee show, he makes these comments, Mike, when they were talking about is Aaron coming back, yada, 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 things of that nature. If I could just pull it up, I could get it to you. Mike, former Green Bay Packers linebacker AJ Hawk says he has been texting Aaron Rodgers that he needs to get back to Pittsburgh. I've been sending Aaron Rodgers texts that he needs to go back to Pittsburgh. He needs to play for Big Mike, end quote. Aaron Rodgers, just as a friend would, these two go way back, says things along the lines of shut up, just funny things, not anything serious. But Aaron, I'm sorry, but AJ Hawk, Mike, pushing for Aaron. I think he'll listen. I don't think there's any way he's not coming back again. The Mike McCarthy thing is where I'm sold.
Yeah,
I just think if he came played for Coach T, he's comfortable. Why not come back for 1 year? That's just where I'm at. I think if I was a gambling man, I would say that he'll be back this year.
I think so too. And Aaron Rodgers is loving all this attention that this is getting. And while this is happening, the Steelers just quietly operating in the background, building their team and building up their draft board. So, Aaron, you can take all the attention you want. It's fine. Like, the Steelers do not care. They're going to operate and still do their thing, and you can have all the eyes on you, the better.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, just so that was some of the scoop, Mike. And also today, earlier after the show, do go check out on the Debo and Joe show. Big Ben, I do believe, was on the show over there this morning. Go check that out later after the show is over. But I do want to get to RB. We have a big draft coming here, guys. This, besides the Super Bowl, is the largest NFL event. It really is. There's no event larger than the NFL draft. It's coming here, guys. They're expecting 700, 800,000 people downtown at the Point and on the North Shore next month. So this is the big topic for the next 30 days, the NFL draft, and it should be, especially here in Pittsburgh, as we're trying to continue to fill the holes, fill the roles, if you will, of this team, Mike, and RB, of everything that we might be needing. Let me ask you this, RB, for what they did so far in free agency, are you happy with the current status of the team going into the draft? In other words, were they able to fill enough holes to go in the draft and get what they want and get what they need?
I would have liked to seen a veteran tackle brought in as well, because I just think with all the moves being made now, you almost kind of pigeonholed yourself into going after a tackle, right or left, because I think Fautanu, personally, I think he's a left tackle in the NFL. I think he's more of a technician instead of more of that mauler, go after, get you. Just Patanu fits left tackle to me more, but you left that glaring hole, I think, at tackle to where you just can't look at BPA at this point. At some point, you got to keep left tackle actually in mind.
Is there any chance? I know that Mike and I on the show talked a lot this week about possibly very early going after the left guard position in the draft early. Is there any chance again? I mean, it is one of the biggest positions on the field, as we say, quarterback, left tackle, cornerback. You got to have these positions. Is there any chance that maybe they find something really early that they like at left tackle, or is this even a no conversation because they have a guy working his way back to health? They have another guy who filled in last year and did well enough. What's your prediction on what's going to go down with left tackle?
They're going to have to take a left tackle at some point, and I think within the first 3 rounds, even if Broad comes back healthy, you don't know how long he's going to stay healthy because that whole fused neck situation is kind of crazy. I've known other athletes that have done it, like a Yoel Romero in MMA has a fused neck,
Yeah.
and he can't even turn his head. He's got to turn his entire body, which probably isn't going to be good for playing left tackle in the NFL.
Yeah, you always got to have your head on that swivel, and you're constantly you got to be you got to be a good athlete. And again, I'm not saying Broad is not a good athlete. I'm just saying that again, he is kind of fighting an uphill battle anyway with his just getting it all together. Giving this one more hurdle for him, it's kind of hard to think that he could pull it all together and become the tackle that we need.
That loss of flexibility is going to make it even tougher. Like I think that in all offensive line positions, I think left tackle, the flexibility to get low and stay with some of these smaller pass rushers they're starting to bring up is going to be big. And I don't know if he's going to be able to do it.
Mike, your thoughts on that as well? Again, RB, it dawned on me last night because again, some of the positions we talked about are, we're imminent. We have to get some of these positions. But Mike, it wasn't until today, and I got to be honest with you, we talked about this yesterday, and it wasn't until today I started seeing it pop up everywhere. Was the need for, or at least the want for the middle linebacker position, of course, on the other side of the ball. The linebacker, the middle linebacker, the left tackle. These are 2 positions, in my opinion, just lately thinking that we really need. I mean, we need a good inside linebacker. We need a good left tackle. Obviously, we need the guard. We need the quarterback. We need all the things that we need. But until yesterday, really the inside linebacker conversation was nil. Yes, there was Patrick Queen's talking to the Cowboys. Yes, Patrick Queen this, Patrick Queen that. But where do we tackle a linebacker? Is it significant to get a good enough linebacker to kind of keep the rotation going in the middle of the defense come draft time? Or is this something that we shouldn't really not have to worry about at this point?
Like I would like to get one of the linebackers. I like Rodriguez. I really like him at a Texas Tech. But if they're comfortable with the linebackers they have, I can see them not drafting anyone this year or drafting someone later in the rounds and focusing more on O-line, wide receiver, in DB, in D-line area. I can see them thinking, hey, if we get some better play up front, our linebackers, they're fast enough, they're athletic enough to where they can fly around and make the plays that we envision. So therefore, we'll invest draft capital into defensive line and run with the linebackers that we have this year. And if we like what we see, maybe we extend some guys, or we take a look in the draft and free agency next year. But I just have a feeling they're going to go heavy O-line, D-line, and like receiver this year. I don't know if linebackers are a huge priority for them this year in their mind.
I see RB agreeing. RB, do you agree with that?
I 100% agree. You got 4 guys under contract right now. All 4 are kind of serviceable. And you really don't know what you have from your 2 starters because of the scheme being so bad last year.
Yeah.
But I think you owe it to these guys to actually show what they can do under a proper NFL scheme. And I just don't think it's that big of a deal. I mean, even if you would take a guy like Rodriguez in like round 2, is he really going to see the field enough to warrant a round 2 pick with the guys in front of him? I don't think so. When you got a guy like Jack Kelly out of BYU, it could probably be had in the late 4, mid 5 range, who's a pretty solid football player, would add that depth, would add a little bit of size in there. But even like they interviewed that kid from Pitt. Isn't that kid only like 215, 220?
Yeah, he's tiny. Yeah, like
so that's not going to really. You're
Yeah.
not changing what you have now. You're just adding somebody else that's just doing what your guys now are doing. That to me doesn't make any sense. I think that was just a appeasal kind of thing. Like he's here, let's talk to him.
For like Lewis, though, he's more of a linebacker safety hybrid.
Yeah.
Is how I view him. I don't view him as a full on middle linebacker.
Like
I
that
do want-
whole like early 2000s Joker guy.
Yep.
Yeah.
To where he can play multiple positions out there, not a real position guy. And I don't think we need more people like that. I think we need more people who can play a role, fill that role, and fill that role well.
You know,
Well, that's the one thing I like they did about this year so far is too. You've seen they brought in a guys that you look at and it's like he's not that great, but he's really good at one thing. If that one thing helps the team, that's okay that he can't do everything.
Absolutely. As far as Kyle Lewis, he's going to make somebody happy. And you know what? When he goes somewhere, we're probably going to be saying, "Wow, look at how he's blowing it up." And but here's one thing about Patrick Queen I want to get back to. Joe Hayden yesterday. Joe Hayden on the Debo and Joe show makes this comment. He says Patrick Queen will be way better in 26. I think, and if he is going to improve, it's going to be now. It's going to be under the new system, under a new defensive coordinator. What kind of improvements and how do you see that laying out for Patrick Queen if, in fact, he does pick up his game this year and we start to see a little glimpse of the Baltimore Patrick Queen?
Well, his time in Baltimore, if you remember back in those days, Baltimore had a really, really big defensive line.
Yes.
They kept them guys fairly clean. And yet Queen always had a little bit of a problem with missed tackles. I mean, he's an undersized guy. That's going to happen. But if he gets enough of a guy, he can slow him up enough that somebody else can clean it up. But that's all going to rely on keeping these guys clean. And then so you got to improve that defensive line. I think that's where we got to go and just trenches all together. I think the biggest problem with this team was one, trenches, two, scheme. And I think they went hand in hand. I think they drafted guys to fit their scheme that really wasn't an NFL scheme. And then these guys couldn't really do the job because, like, I'm trying to think of an example. Like, if you look at Benton, I liked Benton coming out in the draft. Yeah. I thought Benton was going to be a Cam Hayward replacement. That was the guy to move over on the end and give you a little pass rush, a little bit of run stuff. And then they completely viewed him as a nose tackle. Nobody in the world thought Keanu Benton was a nose tackle outside of the Mike Tomlin.
You're right.
Staff.
No, you're right. Lots of good. Yeah,
he was like really good that rookie year playing at nose, but he didn't play it a whole hell of a lot. So there wasn't big film on. But you see year over year, like when teams know he's in there and they're going to run, they know how to attack him. But when he's in there rushing the passer, the dude's a beast. He has quickness for his size to get back there. And another big thing with like Benton that he needs to clean up on is talk about missed tackles. Like him and Patrick Queen. Two guys like that are that quick that get to the ball carrier. They got to learn to wrap it up better.
And that baffles me from Benton because Benton was a state champion wrestler. You'd think he would know how to get somebody to the ground.
You would think.
Yeah, more than anybody else normally, but that's a good point.
In that doggy style position, right, Ryan?
Yeah.
That's right. Let's get to the terrible board. I don't want to miss anybody today. I'm going to go back to John where he says this. Steeler Freak says, my issues with Rodgers. One, he plays favorites and writes teammates off too soon. Two, he picks from the offense menu and does what he only likes. Three, Mike McCarthy will be handcuffed by Rodgers' ability and style. I'll get back to that because I do have questions. Just Learning says, great show, guys. We appreciate that. Just Learning, welcome back. Welcome back to the terrible board. Always good to see you, brother. John also says B. Jones could be done. Broderick Jones could be done. It's going to be tough for him to come back for sure. Tortilla says, I don't see how anything gets fixed in the trenches if the trenches aren't fixed. Sorry, Rodgers needs more time, and we got to stop the run. Also, Steeler Freak says they could just take BP best player available. Jamal, what's up, dude? Always great seeing Jamal. He says, gang. John says they need a thumper at linebacker. Jamal says, we got 3 old geezers today. That's the second comment of that nature. I'm starting to get a little bit of a complex. Jamal says, I like that. Good take, RB. Absolutely, it sure was. John says, Patrick Queen needs a big line and no green dot to help him. And finally, KB really is a dog. He showed us last year. Let me get back. I want to go back to this early something. Right here, John said this, the last part of his earlier message, he says this, guys, Mike McCarthy will be handcuffed by the style, by Rodgers' ability and style. Now, is that going to be a factor just because, for one, I mean, these guys know each other really well. For one, these two worked together to accomplish a Super Bowl. Is that a problem? Because, again, a lot of people speculated, RB, that this was a problem under the Mike Tomlin coaching staff. Does this seem like something that could be a problem or that we should be worrying about moving forward under the Mike McCarthy staff?
I don't believe so, because that whole point of the McCarthy offense, even if you recently seen somebody asked CD Lamb, like, what are you getting in Mike McCarthy? What's Pittsburgh getting? And he said, I'll just tell you right off the bat, he's looking to push the ball downfield. He's looking to get vertical. And then he started to explain how they do it. And then also on top of that, he said he'd run through a brick wall for McCarthy.
Right.
But that whole system, even with Aaron, when he's setting up all these short think and dunk off stuff, it's to set up that deep shot. The problem is your head coach doesn't want to take that deep shot. You're not going to take that deep shot. If the
Right.
plays are being called not to take that shot, he's not going to do it. If you don't have the talent that's going to get down the field and do it, you're not going to do it. I think one of the biggest problems around here is people had the misconception that DK Metcalf, 6'4", 235, 240, whatever he is some big long ball specialist. I mean, he's had a
Right.
few long balls in his life, but he makes a lot of his money in the middle of the field coming from the slot. DK's a catch and run bully kind of guy. He's not a go ball guy, and he's never really been.
And he's terrible at like contested catches too.
Yeah.
He's not going to be that guy. Like your crosses, your slants, your posts. That's where he killed people up in Seattle. Those quick slants, and we saw it last year too when Aaron would hit him on them, and he would get some pretty big gainers. But hopefully, in the McCarthy offense, we'll see more of that, more of the slants across the middle to utilize him, and my God, utilize Michael Pittman Jr. too. He's another big body receiver, but he's not a burner, but he's someone who's not afraid to go across the middle either. Oh, he's
real strong.
Yeah.
I think he might be stronger than DK, but that's what's going to be scary is because McCarthy likes them clear out and crossovers and kind of routes that set up like you get the ball in the guy's hand like he's almost like a running back, like the long handoffs.
Yeah.
And that's perfect for both them guys because then if they start doing these trailing crossover routes, you're going to have to pick which one of these big monsters am I going to get? And there's always that chance that you got either Muth or Darnell coming as like the third trailer behind on like them 3-man like option routes, and it's oh my God, it's
from that nasty angry run that DK had last year where he threw like 3 or 4 guys. I think he threw Minka to the side. Just by the physical nature of what we're starting to put together, going all the way back to Darnell Washington, Muth with his size, DK with his size, Pittman with his size. It's going to be a lot of fun. I said it to Mike. Imagine being one of those 5'10" players in the middle of the field while all those monsters are running full speed around you. I like the physical nature of where this team is going. The other part of that question was, I don't remember where I started. So you know what? I'm actually going to get back on the board so we don't get far behind. I swear to you, I will remember it and I will get it out to you because I did have something and it's going to bother me if I don't. Let's go right here to where I'm going to go back to Jamal. Jamal says this. He says, I'm an old geezer too. Just need a little bit more gray in my beard to keep up with you guys. Hey, you'll get there, brother. You'll get there. Keep your head up. Corey, what's up, dude? Always great seeing Corey on the terrible board. What's up, guys? How about the RB edition? Is that just a camp? It's not a camp body. He is a very big part of the team moving forward. I'm very excited to have him here. I do want to say go check Corey out if you're into conspiracy theories and things like this. Maybe the Sasquatch, maybe UFOs, or even government secrets. Go check out Corey over at Don't Drink That right here on YouTube. A pretty damn good conspiracy theory podcast. I was just over there yesterday watching one of his new videos. A big fan I am. Do go check out Don't Drink That right here on YouTube. Tortilla says this. No, I'm sorry, right here. Tortilla says he's a good special teams guy too. Following that up by saying, yeah, DK doesn't go vertical. He literally goes horizontal for balls. Let's go to Corey right here. Corey follows up with that last message saying that's because Yinzers only know DK from the times he's burned us on deep balls in Seattle, LOL, which isn't hard to do with how shaky our secondary has been in recent years. John at Steeler Freak says this. Ben picked out what plays he wanted to run at the end of the day, just like Rodgers. By the way, the power struggle about play calling was famous between McCarthy and Rodgers. I didn't know that. Again, maybe that is common knowledge. I didn't know that. Is this going to be a thing, RB? Is that going to pop back up? And again, you basically just answered the question, but if you want to comment on their play calling, yeah.
I don't think it's going to be. Back then, the argument from Rodgers was he was kind of that McCarthy wasn't going as deep as often.
Okay.
And what you've seen Rodgers in the last couple seasons has kind of calmed down and wanted the more high percentage throws. So I think that's going to go out the window right away. I
Okay.
think you notice as quarterbacks get older, they all kind of realize, wait, this throwing the ball down the field 20 yards every play is getting a
Right.
little old, and we really ain't doing anything. As guys start to mature and start to learn the league a little bit, they're a little bit more willing to take what's given to them.
I absolutely agree with you 100%. Jamal says, "Oh shit, that's RB from the chat. That is RB from the chat in the flesh. There he is, everybody." Tortilla says that's it. That is him, and Jamal says that is dope. Everybody, say what's up to RB. Let me get into a few other things here because we do have RB for about an hour. I want to get all my draft concerns and questions in. Let me go. A couple of things I do want to talk about. We did talk to start the show off. We talked about the important positions, the positions that we need: the tackles, the guards, the quarterbacks, the defensive linemen, the inside linebackers. And let's just say, all the way up until last night, Mike RB, I was convinced that round 1 and 2 were going to be possibly going and getting that guard, maybe from Penn State, somebody of that nature to fill that guard spot, and then maybe grabbing a pretty decently high wide receiver. And then all these other positions started popping up. What realistically is top priority, numero uno RB, something in 30 days from now that we should be expecting on night 1 of the draft? Because again, if you think about it, there's more things that we do need. Linebacker could hold, as you guys mentioned. We could wait off on that. But legitimately, RB, what do you see happening in the first night at pick 21, providing we don't move it around a little bit? What should Pittsburgh Steelers fans expect from that first round pick? Should we expect to solidify the offensive line? Should we expect to get that playmaker at wide receiver to really shore up that wide receiver room? What's your thoughts on that? Where did the Steelers realistically go after with that 21st pick? Again, providing they are at 21 when it gets there. What's your thoughts?
I personally think your first 2 picks are going to be in the trenches. I wouldn't be surprised if the first 3 picks are in the trenches.
Really?
I mean, that's historically how McCarthy has built teams. That's how Andy Whittle has historically built teams. They're going to be in agreement on this. This wide receiver class, I don't think there's a true superstar in this wide receiver. I think you got a handful of really damn good wide receivers.
Okay.
And then I think you got 2 handfuls of contributing starters, 1 and 2 or 2 and 3 kind of guys, depth wise, the whole way down to the 4th, maybe in the 5th round. I don't think that's a major concern right now. Like, I mean, as on the team, I think they need a receiver, but I don't think it's a concern to grab it early because you can probably find a guy that's going to step in and play that 3 role, maybe in the 4th, 5th round still. I mean, like I said before, you got Lance out there. I've seen Ted Hurst flying up some boards, but I think Hurst could be available in the 3rd. Hurst could be one day like a George Pickens-esque replacement without the attitude. Hurst is a really good kid, but he has a lot of them Pickens qualities: strong hands, good contested catch, good speed, good strike, good like flowing runner. But receiver, I don't think is like, you don't have to rush it. If you can build your trenches, even by building your trenches, you can make an average receiver a good receiver if the quarterback has enough time and the receiver has enough time to run his route.
Right.
And you add into the scheme on top of it. It's going to be a more pro offensive scheme, a more wide receiver conducive offense. And like that's what like the mock I put up yesterday. I want offensive linemen the first 2 picks to shore up the O line. I just a mock like Fano in the first round and trade up for Pregnon in the 2nd, flip Fatano to the left.
Yeah.
Your line's set right there with 2 picks, and then you can go back in, build up your secondary, build up your D line, build up your wide receiving core. And like you were saying, this is how like we learn to build teams from Howie Roseman, and that's how he builds them: O line, D line. And every year they're investing capital into those positions, and my God, they're a damn good team.
And I know we talked about this the last time when you said that, and everybody goes, "Oh, well, what are you going to do when all 5 of them contracts come up within 3 years?" That's why you
keep drafting
them. You don't repay them. You just let guy in.
Yeah. Unless you have like a true superstar, like the way they did with like kept doing with like who was it? The one tackle Johnson. They kept paying him over and over, but they found ways to keep a lot of those guys together and still had money to afford AJ Brown, Saquon Barkley, pay Jalen Hurts, pay guys on their defense. If you draft well, you can pay guys and just keep rotating guys in and out at different positions.
And I know this sounds terrible to say, but that's why you start to put priority on these linemen. These linemen aren't the divas that like skill position guys
Yeah.
are. These
Yeah.
linemen understand I need this guy beside me to look as good as I do. So they're going to be more willing to take and accept like a more team friendly like
Yeah.
deal because they know that they're dependent on the four other guys around them to continue to look well.
Listen, great take. And I kind of let me stick with the wide receiver room just for a second here. Is there anybody in the wide receiver room currently, RB, that can possibly play that number 3 position at wide receiver? You've got Benny Sko, of course, Roman Wilson. We don't know what the hell happened. So basically, where the question is, I guess basically where the question is Roman Wilson going to be anywhere near good enough to play of any significant position? Because you got two things going on. If you have Aaron Rodgers coming back, and the speculations that a lot of people think are true about, he plays favoritism for whatever reason. He doesn't know his playbook. Whatever the case was with Roman, we don't know. Is he a possibility? RB is he's working with the route god. I don't know if that's gonna put him to that next level. But at the end of the day, does Roman have what it takes, or do we have to get outside of the receiver room to complete the receiver room? Of course, we need bodies anyway. But at the end of the day, is Roman going to be good enough to be a player of any significance, for one? And do we have the receiver number 3 anywhere in the wide receiver room that we could fill that position in the meantime?
If I would have to say, I would say no and no.
Okay.
I think Benny Skro, if it was an absolute dire need, could play like that. What was his name? Like the old Penn State Michael Roberts, that whole blocking wide receiver 3 thing. I don't think he's going to offer you much production, but Benny Skro's a good blocker, and he's always going to hustle, and he's going to grit, and he does have sure hands, but he's not going to create you any separation or anything like that.
Right.
The Roman Wilson stuff, if it's all true, I don't put any stock into a guy that's not willing to work extra and struggling to maintain like his playbook and maintain the information, but yet's not willing to stay after to do any sort of work. I just immediately, I don't want that guy around.
All right. Very interesting. Let's get back on the board. See, I don't want to miss anybody. And again, while RB is in the house, I want to get as much in as we can, especially for draft questions of any questions of that nature. Throw it up there. We do got RB today. Let's see. I'm going to go right here to Don't Drink That. This is going to be very, very nice to RB. A nice comment for him. Corey says this: I want to know where RB gets his intel from. He's been far more accurate than the insiders have been lately. You should be an insider yourself. I couldn't agree more. RB is very talented, and I do go on and on about that because very, very excited to have RB on. Corey, really loving your work, RB.
I actually was watching Corey's video this morning, and I lost my internet for a little bit, and then that's when I got your text and never got back to finish it. I'm a big Anunnaki Sumerian kind of guy. So once I seen he did a Sumerian video. Now he's doing an Anunnaki. It's like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna have to buckle down here, take some time off from football film and watch this.
Every once in a while, I get in that mood too, and it's usually conspiracy theories that I do gravitate to. Jamal says we need weapons, big weapons. Jamal is saying on the terrible board. Follows it up by saying draft the tight end from Oregon and make him a slot. Squeege, what's up? Always great seeing Squeege on the terrible board. He says fellers. John, the Steeler Freak, says drafting a rookie wide receiver with Rodgers could be a waste. Again, it will be his way. Mark Malone, always great seeing Mark. How you doing, brother? On the terrible board, he says this: if we get a quarterback like Beck on a rookie contract, we can pay the offensive line. Somber, what's up, dude? Somber says Aaron is going to have to suck it up. If they want to run spread, they need at least 2 more wide receivers. Somber says, howdy, y'all. John, the Steeler Freak, says this: I'm not sure Rodgers wants to train a rookie wide receiver. More age equals less patience. Let's go right here to Squeege. James Harrison he had Ben Roethlisberger live on his podcast today. Check out the Debo and Joe show. In parentheses, of course, the most important part after this, of course. Do go check that out. John says this: Rodgers will determine Roman Wilson's fate. Squeege says Ben keeps making the point of building the team around Will Howard, and he said he believes Rodgers will start. Somber says, I watched it live. Somber also follows it up by saying he knows something or someone in legal at PNC. And finally, John, the Steeler Freak, says this: Howard's arm strength is the issue that cannot be developed.
I don't know about that.
Good, RB.
He's a big boy. And trust me, I'm one of these people that tell people temper your expectations on Will Howard. Will Howard's arm strength isn't so much of an arm strength thing, it's a mechanical thing. Will has some robotic mechanicals, and when he keeps relying on that, he's not throwing a lot off his back foot and his hips. And there's nobody better in the business that would teach you how to throw a football with your weight in your hips than Aaron Rodgers. There's never been anybody in the league that's thrown the ball non-arm wise as better Aaron Rodgers.
No, good take. Good take. Anybody else, if you have any draft questions directly for RB, do get them in. We have them for about 10 more minutes today. RB, here's my next question. I got two more specific questions that I don't want to let you go today without talking about. We did talk about, of course, that middle of the defense. We talked about the linebackers. Okay, so we filled a lot of holes. We changed some people out. We rotated the stock, if you will. But at the end of the day, RB, those 5 men in the middle of the field, your 2 inside linebackers and your 3 guys on the front line, has enough been done? Will enough be done? And how are we going to stop a team from running 250 yards against us this year, like it happened last year, with the same exact personnel? Is the coaching change and coordinator change going to be enough to fix that problem?
No, but I think the personnel and coaching changes is going to change that personnel, because the biggest problem was not having a real nose tackle.
Yeah.
When you're playing defensive ends at nose tackle and telling him, okay, we want you to rip, get into the B gap and go. And then you're leaving them to the guard in the center, both the combo guard or combo block your middle linebackers. It's never going to work well. And McCarthy, back in his days in Green Bay, remember, had a little undersized fella by the name of BJ Raji playing in the middle, just a little guy.
Absolutely.
So I think that's going to change. He always made it a priority to keep Raji around. And if Raji ever went down, I believe the other guy he had around was John Jolly, and he was a big old boy too.
All right, now good take. John says Howard's arm could be the issue. Okay, we got that. Tyrone, what's up, dude? Always great seeing Tyrone on the terrible board. Tyrone says JPJ, the GOAT Porter. I say Tyrone, the GOAT on the board. How you doing, brother? Always great seeing Ty on the board. Aaron Williams, what's up? Always great seeing Aaron on the board as well. Aaron says this: must we hang on to Mason Rudolph? Is he a must? Is he just comfortable? Is he fun to be around? How much longer is Mason going to be around, and why?
I honestly don't think Mason's safe, because again, this is a complete brand new staff. I think Mason was brought back last year because of familiarity with the staff.
Yeah.
If Mason comes into camp this year and just doesn't look good, and then like say Howard's looking well enough, I could see Mason going and then bringing in keeping a younger guy that was in camp and just go ahead and let Mason go. I know he doesn't make a lot of money, but at this point, you know what Mason is. You've seen enough of him to know what he is. And let's face it, Mason isn't going to actually win you any games. He might not lose you games, but he's not going to win you anything.
Mike, did you have something?
No, I just hope Mason doesn't go. I think he's a solid, steady backup in the league, but yeah, the familiarity of the staff he had is no longer here, so they don't know him. Like I've been saying, this whole offseason and training camp and everything that's coming up for the players, everyone should be not on the chopping block, but you're auditioning for a brand new coaching staff. They don't know you from anyone. They have no attachment to you. So these guys should be coming in ready to go from the jump, man. Guys should be ready to put their best foot forward, especially people like Roman Wilson, Caleb Johnson. You were already on the bubble with the old coaching staff. Imagine how close you are to the edge now with a new coaching staff. And a lot of players got to step up.
And that old coaching staff actually wanted you. Who knows what McCarthy thought about these guys coming out?
Yeah.
Because I have good information that Andy Weidel almost fell out of his chair and didn't take this job when Colbert took Pickett.
Really?
That almost persuaded Weidel not to even take the job. He almost didn't do it. He thought Pickett was so terrible.
I think that was one of the worst decisions the organization made, was letting Kevin Colbert have that last final draft. You knew who your GM was going to be. You knew who you wanted your assistant GM to be. Hire them 2 months beforehand and let them run the draft.
Well, the thing with that is, though, too, that wasn't Colbert either. Colbert was a yes man.
You're right. Absolutely.
No, especially towards the end there, because like he was just whatever anyone wanted, like whatever Tomlin wanted, whatever Rooney wanted. He just went along with it.
Yep.
A couple more comments, and then I have one more topic. I don't want to let RB go without today. Let me just nail these comments real quick. Right here, Steeler Freak says improve D-line and get real inside linebacker thumper. Somber says, I think they address the linebacker issue next year. Sadly, PQ will be gone. I figure they will revamp the room next year, if I had to guess. Somber also says, absolutely. Somber says, kind of sucks. Decent linebacker class. Squeege, he says, yeah, I'm good on Mason Rudolph. If he is the third string, I'm keeping him, but that's just me. Tyrone, he says, you never know, Somber might take one. Steeler Freak says, I know Rodgers is too. Aaron says, is Skyler taking up a roster spot? Real quick, he's a free. No, he's not taking up a spot as of the moment, correct?
No, he's a free agent.
He's Rodgers, no.
Also, no, Skylar Thompson.
Oh, Skylar Thompson. Oh, no.
Mark Malone says Magnum will make a good first impression. Squeech says it's crazy how stacked the roster is, but also how many holes are filled. And finally, John Steeler Freak says Pickett was a 5-year mistake and counting. Guys, this is what I want to talk to you about, RB, especially because it was new this week. The visit that we had after Carson Beck was a young man from North Dakota State. This quarterback, of course, Cole Payton. I went and I watched the highlights last night, but I'm very curious to see what your take is, where he came from out of nowhere, and does that yield anything moving forward with the draft? Cole Payton, what's your thoughts, RB?
First off, I hate left-handed quarterbacks. I hate left-handed quarterbacks with a passion.
Yeah.
But when I actually got some all-22 film and got away from the highlights to me just showed a guy, look, one read, took off, run. And I'm like, this ain't impressive, especially from a lefty. He's got a little bit of a live arm, get some good RPMs on the ball, had some, and like, But when you actually sit down and watch the all-22, the kid's got a lot of anticipation. So he has an above-average NFL arm. He throws with very good anticipation, generates good RPMs on the ball. He's a very good size. He's a good athlete. I think if it wasn't for the Taylon Green absolutely freak showing the combine, you would have never heard the end of Cole Miller, because he was just this far behind him and everything. But I mean, the 4.5 40 was maybe this far off of him.
Right.
But like the jump and all the others, side to sides, he was right there with him.
And and I'm watching it. Is it going to hurt? Does it hurt a guy like him playing for North Dakota State opposed to playing at an Ohio State or a school that has a higher pedigree? Because again, at the end of the day, you don't know what you're getting with that North Dakota State quarterback because of the level of competition. But then you could look at a guy like Josh Allen and say, you know what, he's just fine coming from a school of that nature. Is the hype real? Because again, I watched it. I seen all the things that you're saying. I agree with you. Where does Cole Payton ultimately go, and is that hype real?
I see a lot of the mock draft sites have him 4th, 5th round.
Okay.
I wouldn't be shocked if he goes early part of the 3, maybe even the late part of the 2, if somebody falls in love with him. Like maybe a Rams who don't have that many holes.
Right.
And then they're a very good quarterback developmental team. And that's where the North Dakota State thing comes in. I mean, you had Wentz go there number 1 overall. So, I mean, it does. Sometimes it doesn't hurt, but sometimes it does, because then you look at somebody like McVay down there, he's going to look at a kid that didn't get all that great at coaching.
Right.
His mechanics do need a little bit of work. You give this kid a little bit of work and he already thrown the ball this well, and then you fix his mechanics, some of his footwork and stuff. That might be an actual plus for some teams that are going to look at a kid that's performing like this, knowing that there's still some stuff that you can work on to correct it. So they might see a lot more upside than somebody coming from a Power 5 conference who still has all these problems, but has received pretty good coaching over the last 3 or 4 years.
Just kind of going off of what we're talking about, I don't think it's going to just bear with me for a minute. John asks this: a lefty quarterback takes the pressure off of left tackle. Fatanu would be the important guy watching the backside of a left-handed quarterback. Does that make any bit of a difference to anything? Or again, I understand the point, but with Fatanu being the blind side tackle, how much of a difference would that make if that be the case?
Patanu was the left tackle for a left-handed quarterback before, if that makes any difference
That's
at all.
true, Mikey. I think Mikey did mention that the other
Yeah,
day.
yeah, because he was the blindside protector for
Penix.
Penix Jr.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's why, like, when we drafted Fatano, I'm like, sweet, throw him at left and keep Rodgers Jones at right.
Yeah.
And like, I'm gonna keep beating this drum until the day I die. That 9-game rookie window that Broderick Jones had, my God, he showed the potential to be a great right tackle. And I don't know why everyone thinks he should go to left. He cannot pass protect for his life. And now this injury come on here. No, he would have been great. Just live. He should have just been a right tackle. Fatano at left. Things would have been great and perfect.
But to what John is saying, there is some merit to that then, because when you take a left-handed quarterback, you got to mirror the offense. So
Yeah,
right.
you basically move your finesse guys to the right side, then you move your power guys to the left side.
Just it's interesting to think about.
It's a mess. And then the problem with that is, then I think you're almost handcuffed. You have to take another lefty as your backup, unless you want to completely flip everything and redo everything mid-season. It's just having a left-handed quarterback is a damn headache.
That when you put it that way. Let me get to this one more in for you. I know you ain't got much more time. Ty asks this: do we trust Cook at left tackle, RB?
No.
All right, and one more.
I don't think that he's terrible, but I'm not going to trust it.
Right.
I'm not going to go in there with him, the only guy there, and say, screw it. Dylan looked good in 3 games last year. Let's roll. No.
Good
Somebody's
point.
got to be behind him that can play.
Good point. And finally, this is the last question for me, and this is a 13-month question. 13 months from now, when the draft is in 2027, and it's all said and done, who is going to be the next quarterback that is on the Steeler team that's either fighting Will Howard for the job or ends up being the next quarterback of the future? Is there anybody? Again, this is 13 months out. Nobody is going to hold you to anything. Just a really wide outside prediction. 13 months ahead. Who is that guy going to ultimately be, RB?
Oh, God.
Is there anybody in this draft, that you could see being? And there's a lot of things that obviously have to happen before that even.
If everything works out the way that it's supposed to, like it was worked out the way it was supposed to this year at all, but if everybody they think coming out is going to end up coming out, I could see 8 or 9 quarterbacks going in the first round.
Oh man, well, it's going to be interesting.
It's going to be nuts. I wish that kind of would have happened this year. It would have been a hell of a draft to actually watch. But I keep hearing people talk about Julian Sayin from Ohio State. And I've watched a teeny bit of him, and I can see why people like him.
Okay.
Even besides those 8 guys going in the first round, there's still going to be 3 or 4 potential third-round guys. Here's the thing people don't understand is everybody just take his quarterback in the second. Rarely do you see teams take a quarterback in the second, because everybody that's needed quarterback took him in the first. Yep. And everybody that needs a quarterback knows they're not getting taken in the second now, so they'll wait till the third and add that value.
Good point.
You're going to have the handful of 3 or 4 guys that's going to be in the third rounder who still could be potential start day. Maybe not day 1 guys, but can work in. 60 seconds, Mike. RB has to take off. Final questions for RB.
If we don't go, you're talking about later receivers. One of my favorite is still Jacoby Lane from USC. Is he still up? Are you still high on him?
I like Lane. I think there's a lot to work there with. Quick feet, good. He pretty good on contested catches. I think Lane's one of them guys. It might need to add a little bit of weight to his frame, but he's completely fine right now to be the 3. And I actually think it fits kind of right now what we need, because despite what people think, everybody goes, "Oh, we need Concepcion, we need Jeremy Bernard, we need these guys that work the middle of the field." No, we don't. We already got 2 guys that work the middle of the field. We need somebody who's going to take the roof off the defense for now.
Yeah.
And I think for now, that's all right with Lane, because I think Lane can learn to do some of the other stuff. But for right now, he's a deep threat, but he can learn and develop into more in the time he has these 2 guys around him. I think both those guys are great teachers for Lane.
Yeah, and that's why I like him too, because he can be the deep threat, and he doesn't have to worry about that other stuff. He can focus his first year on just
producing.
Learn these certain route concepts, and then and then eventually, sprinkle more in advance your route tree as the season goes on. But yeah, I think he would be a great pick, because if you want to bolster both lines, and either your secondary linebacker, he can be that first receiver off the board, hopefully somewhere with one of those third-round picks.
Yeah, I would have no problem with that at all. And then also, I like that Caldwell kid out of Cincinnati. If you go on and watch that kid's highlights or any of his game tape, that guy, the head coach of Cincinnati, should be tarred, feathered, and drugged through town on a goddamn horse. They have this kid running ins, outs, curls, back, anything but a deep ball. It's like this kid is 6'5", and you're running curls with him. What is your problem? And
That's
the
insane.
cool thing about that kid is he said going to his senior year of high school, he graduated his junior year. At the end of his junior year, he was 5'9", 148 pounds. He came back as a senior at 6'4", 190. So he's still growing into his frame.
Damn,
So
what a
he's
summer
gonna
that
have
was.
one of them Martavis Bryant things. Remember when Bryant came in, he was like 198, and then he come back that next season, he was like 223, and he looked
Yeah.
like he was on the cover of Men's Fitness. I think you're gonna see
Yeah.
the same thing out of this Jeff Caldwell kid. I think eventually it's gonna hit him, and he's just gonna add all his talent.
Well, we thank you so much, RB. I do know that he has to take off, but I do want to throw this out there, guys. Now that the closer we get to the draft, the more and more you are going to see the draft team. RB will certainly be by more often. And again, Chop, we're going to get him in here real soon. RB, anything before you take off? I know you do have to go. I don't want to keep you much longer. Anything, thoughts, comments on anything before you roll?
I really want a fullback.
All right, there you go.
I really,
Fullback.
really want a real fullback, and I like the kid out of Michigan, Brederson.
Okay.
I know Somber likes the kid out of Indiana, and I do too. I think he has a Polish name, even though he's not Polish.
Oh, okay.
Kwiatkowski, kind of what, but he,
Mike, you're the big Indiana fan. Why don't you tell us who this is?
Yeah, that guy. He's great.
he's a really explosive dude. Like really explosive, good with the ball in his hands. But I just like Brederson because he's just pure. I'm a meathead. I'm going to run right into this brick wall and I'm going to smash you in the face. And he's not even a bigger dude. He's maybe like 245, 248. And he doesn't always plow people over, but the next play he'll run into the same guy, like running into a brick wall. He knocks him out of the hole. He might not knock him down, but he gets him out of the hole and he never stops.
Little beast.
They asked him before, they said, you played your 4-year starter at tight end / fullback. How'd you like to get a touchdown this year? He goes, I don't want.
That's my kind of fullback right there.
That's what you want. Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, RB. Again, we're looking forward to seeing you more often, and as we move forward more and more often. Always great work, my friend. We thank you so much. You have a great day. And again, RB, we'll see you so soon. Thank you, my friend.
Yes, sir.
All right. We'll see you, brother. All right. You too, my man.
Look at these, Irby.
Let's get to some more messages on the board as we do move forward. We thank RB so much for his work, Mike. He really, really goes above and beyond, and I can't stop talking about how much we do love having RB aboard. Very, 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 very great asset to this team. I got to be completely honest, Mike. 100% happy.
Yeah, it's awesome. Like the group chat going on with him and Chop talking the draft. I'm in heaven, and it's Riley Novakowski.
Oh, it doesn't matter now. Your lies and deceit doesn't matter once RB left. Because I know you're BSing. But let me, Mike, a couple of things that I do want to say. There's some comments that I did save around for specifically after RB. But you know what? I'm going to stay on the board again. I don't want to get too far behind, but I do have topics, Mike, we're going to get into real soon. Some interesting things I think that you're going to be into. Do stick around, everybody. This is the episode 933 of the Two Dum Yinzers. Jumping right here on the board where Corey says that would be a matter of having a mobile quarterback that could escape pressure. You still got to be able to protect both sides regardless. Statue quarterbacks are going to be protected if your line is trash either side. Also, Mark Malone, with Beck, you can play both ways. You can play both ways, Mike. With Beck, the blindside tackle might not be that big of an issue if you have a guy.
It might not be an issue with those set of eyes right there. My man can see pressure coming from every direction except up the middle where we're sitting pretty at. So he is golden.
There is no backside to
there's no backside.
Back.
There's no blind side.
More of the quarterback from Oregon, Tyrone is saying on the board. Also, Squeege says this Pittsburgh has the talent to assist the left tackle with chipping tight ends. Drives me nuts how we watch TJ get chipped and double teamed all year while the offense just ignored how important that is. Again, hopefully some of these things that we've been complaining about for years, I'm not going to go and badmouth the former coach, but I'm going to say it's just going to be interesting to see what differences, because again, people were blaming the coaching staff some people some things might have been him, some things might not have been. So those are some of the things that I'm certainly interested in personally watching to see if we could change some of those problems and issues that's been lingering. Squeege, we got that. I'm going to go to Sass. Sass, what's up? Always great seeing you on the board. Welcome back. I believe it when the draft comes around and if we have a good pool of quarterbacks. Always great to see you. Thank you for the comment. Ty says this is an OSU fan. He is a beast, a little small, though, but love saying. Let's go to Steeler Freak. Rookies don't mind running 100-yard dashes each play without getting the ball. Steeler Freaks also says this Derpy was on a Derpy diet. A Derpy diet, Mike. Let's see. Let's go to
Derpy
right here where John also says thanks RB for the research that I'm too lazy or too stupid to do. Always, guys, we all again love RB, love what he brings to the table. John, what's up, dude? Dude says, afternoon, fellas. Always great seeing dude on the board.
Dude.
Love the dude. Thanks, RB, is what Ty says. Also, don't drink that. Corey says that Mark Malone Beck is playing 5D football. He can see layers. He can see through portals and planes.
Through portals and planes.
He sees layers of the universe we didn't know existed.
He's playing in fourth dimension.
That's actually really good. Corey, game ball to you on that. Fifth dimension. Carson Beck. Don't drink that. Corey also says his blind side is his front side. And again, we have the center position wrapped up, so maybe his blind spot is well protected. Beck is total ambidextrous package. Mark Malone is saying.
Jesus Christ.
To be ambidextrous with your hands or your feet is one thing, but with the eyes, that's a skill.
That's a talent right there.
No wonder
you
can't
teach that.
No wonder we have so much interest in him early on in this process. But guys, a lot of things we're still going to get into, Mike. This here is a question that it hasn't been lingering, but maybe it should, but maybe you have an answer. So let me get this question out, Mike. I'm sorry, Kenneth Gainwell and Deshaun Williams, they had 46 of the 63 kickoff returns last season. Mike, throughout all the games throughout the season, who fills that void? Who fills the spot at returning kicks? Again, Caleb Johnson, who knows what the hell's going on with that situation. He started there last year. There was a little mistake. Of course, you've seen how the rest of the season played. But Kenneth Gainwell and Deshaun Williams, 46 of 63 kickoff returns last year, Mike. Currently, because I don't know. You can't say about the draft because you don't know. But right now on this team, like what we do have between tied up in the roster and maybe people we still have on the hook for free agency, anybody that stands out to you that may be returning kicks. Again, Calvin Austin was another person, Mike, who could return kicks, and he's also gone. What's the answer to this, if any, at this point?
Right now it's Jalen Warren for kick returns because he's done it in the past. I think he did it last year as well. Right now he's the guy for punt returns. That's a good question right there because I do not know, but kick returns right now it is Jalen Warren. So punt returns, they're gonna have to figure that one out.
Does Roman Wilson have the ability to return kicks in either capacity?
I'm not sure if he did returns in college or not. To be honest with you, I'm not sure.
I mean, at this point, you see certain guys that get out in special teams and it allows them to really expose their skills and showcase their skills. And it just makes you wonder if Roman Wilson could take an alternative route. Maybe he goes and does some great things on special teams that could help his case on the offense.
Yeah, because I'm looking at his college stats now, and he's had 0 punt returns. He had 6 career kick returns in college. So, no, that's not a thing for him. So it's looking like probably Jalen Warren and maybe that Homer guy that we picked up right now based on the roster. So I'm assuming they're going to get someone in the draft or after the draft that's that has kick return ability.
You know what? That's a great point about Homer, Mike, because, again, sometimes you might just see that guy thrown in there and he might just end up being it. But good results, good comments, opinions on that. Let's grab a couple of these messages, Mike, as they are coming in. Corey says this: there's a lot of interest in Beck because he's a science experiment. He is a science experiment. He looks like the husband of those women on my 600-pound wife. Dante Kent, Mike. There you go, Dante Kent. Who knows where he is, but he could be a possibility.
Yeah, if he makes the team.
In RB says Roman said he could do punts. They didn't let him do it in Michigan though. So
hey, I can say I'm gonna date Scarlett Johansson. We'll see which one happens first.
There you go. I could see
it doesn't mean you can do it.
I do also, Mike, a few things I do have here. I'm going to get back to the quarterbacks in just a minute, but all this wide receiver talk, wouldn't it be crazy? And I don't know where he's going to go because I'm just not too aware of his game and his stats and what he's done. But wouldn't it be crazy if Mike Tomczyk's son, Max Tomczyk, ends up on the Pittsburgh Steelers? Mike, almost in a complete cycle. 30 years later, Tomczyk was backing up O'Donnell. O'Donnell throws the bad pass in the Super Bowl. The very next year, you have the quarterback challenge, Jim Miller, Mike Tomczyk, and Cordell Stewart. Wouldn't it be something as a Pittsburgh fan if Max Tomczyk, the wide receiver from Youngstown State, Mike, just not that far. I think Derpy lives in the vicinity. Mike, if Max Tomczyk becomes a Pittsburgh Steel, he could. Is there? Yes, I guess Will Howard wears number 18. I mean, what if Max would have came as back as a receiver and got his dad's number?
Just fight Will Howard for it. Yeah, I'm up for that. Your PFF ranked number 417th prospect, Max Tomczyk. So you tell me there's a chance.
There's a chance Mike Tomczyk's son could be on this football team now because obviously maybe late rounds you're getting down a little bit. And you got your big picks out of the way, and you see this wide receiver, Mike, while you're trying to get a couple bodies out there for camp. Max Tomczyk, Mike.
Hey, he played
complete circle.
He's a slot guy. I'm looking at his alignments.
Need a slot guy.
Slot guy. 974 yards last year, 8 touchdowns, 14.8 per catch. Hey, he's 6 foot, $195.
Yeah, the thing is, I mean, from what I hear, again, I mean, he's the 400,000th receiver available.
Right.
But at the end of the day, again, when you kind of get some of those guys near the end of the draft, later rounds, and it's tapering off, and you're like, all right, it's not out of the question, like to have Carson Bruner and Max Tomczyk on the same team, who were both on the Super Bowl team exactly 30 years ago. I just think, again, as a Steeler fan, one of those neat, interesting things that I think that people would dig.
I didn't even know Mike Tomczyk had a son playing football.
I did see a little bit throughout time that he was at YSU, but I didn't put much thought into it because you never hear about him, and it's YSU. And,
it's what, D3 college, so
right.
Still, that's pretty awesome, though.
Steeler Freak says the fisheye that saved Pittsburgh. I like the fisheye. It's Carson Beck, of course. You know what? I'm giving John a game ball on that one as well. Tortilla says Carson Beck was just casted in Star Wars. What? Yeah, I'm not a Star Wars guy, but what are those things? Because I do know what you're talking about, where their eyes are like.
Oh my God.
Tortilla will probably throw it up there. John says Pittsburgh loves throwback alumni. They sure do. And you know what? Joey Porter, well, I mean, his dad wasn't on the 96 team, but again, Joey Porter, his dad was on the 05 team. So again, we get enough players' kids from those good teams. I don't know. At this point, guys, I guess anything is worth looking into. A few more things, Mike. Let's move on. I'm going to go right here. Charlie Batch. Let's talk a little bit about Aaron Rodgers for a couple more minutes, Mike. Charlie Batch comes out and says he predicts that Aaron Rodgers will be making his announcement within a week. He's not giving any specifics like the Fat Man does. He's not. Charlie Batch, again, he's probably in the know more than we are, but not as much as some people. Mike, he is predicting that Aaron Rodgers will make his decision within the next week. Again, only 30 days from the draft, so that's going to put us within 3 weeks of the draft. If Aaron does, in fact, make that call in the next week, Charlie Batch, for whatever reason, seems to think it's going to be coming within a week.
And that would be nice to have it known well before the draft, at least for the fans' sake.
Right.
Like the team, they probably know whether he's coming back or not. Even if he's not coming back, I think they're still not going to draft a quarterback if he doesn't come back. They probably have numerous plans in place, but within a week would be awesome. But like you said, Charlie really probably doesn't have any deep sources, but if he does and he pulls it out and he's better than the fat man, hell yeah, Charlie backs, let's go.
I do want to get Corey's last comment on top. The very first comment, he says, "You mean the Codfather, Fat Bully?" Yes, that is who we do.
I do have an updated picture of Carson Beck.
Let's take a look. We have an updated picture of Carson Beck. I can't wait to see this, Mike.
Now, this is just an updated picture of Carson Beck. It just came across the wire.
Let's take a look. There. What the hell is that?
I mean, look.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
And then you get this.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. The most updated picture of Carson Beck. There it is. That's going to be at the bottom of your screen.
That's our franchise quarterback. If that little fucking creature brings us Super Bowl 7, I am all for it, baby.
He's going to be at the bottom of the screen for the intros. I'm Carson Beck. Miami, Georgia, Texas, Pittsburgh. He's going to have just a whole list of schools because he's been in school since we've been in school, Mike.
Tatooine.
So there you go. The new picture, up-to-date picture of Carson Beck.
I hope we draft Carson Beck so I can keep using these backgrounds.
Yeah, I do too. And I want him to watch the show and see the pictures that we use of him.
All in good fun, Carson, because look at these eyes, brother.
Absolutely. Mike is as cockeyed as they come. And he's really not. That's the thing. He gives himself more crap than he deserves. There's something off. I admit that.
I have one eye. It's higher than the other. It's squintier than the other. It doesn't bother me. I just know it's there.
Maybe you're Asian.
I have a feeling that I am.
Don't drink that. Corey says, what in the short bus did we just see?
He said, what in the short bus?
Talking about quarterbacks. No, Mike, not sloth boys. What Ty is saying on the board. We're talking about quarterbacks, Mike. I brought it up because I wanted to get RB's take on Cole Payton. But these are some of the numbers, Mike, on Cole Payton. Of course, North Dakota State, I think, is of course the first red flag. However, it doesn't always mean that, you get Antonio Brown, who's one of the better receivers all time, coming out of Western Michigan. And, just stories like this that happen. So, again, at the end of the day, we're not going to dismiss it, Mike. We will talk about it. Let's look at, for a few moments, some of the Cole Payton numbers here, Mike. The resume, he was 12-1 last season. He had a 12-1 record with an 8-0 record in the conference. He was third in the Walter Payton Award voting. He threw for 2,719 yards. He had 16 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, and he ran for 777 yards and 13 touchdowns on the ground, which is something that I noticed when I was watching the film myself yesterday. Yeah. He likes to run. He to be fair, an honest assessment, Mike, when I'm watching this, I'm thinking he reminds me of a little Josh Allen. I'm not trying to compare him. I'm not trying to say he's anything. I'm just saying, as I'm watching him, I felt that I was watching a smaller, younger Josh Allen. That's just the vibe I picked up from his play.
Someone who's trusting their legs more than their arms.
And his arm is good, but he trusts his legs a lot. A beginning, not as advanced, obviously. Josh Allen does a lot of things very well, but if I had to say there was a player that he reminded me of, that's the honest assessment that I would give.
Yeah, I just, like I said, I really haven't gone back and watched him. I watched that little 5-minute highlight reel before the last time we had RB on, and I noticed a lot too. Like, his first instinct is when he put his foot down, at least on those highlights, is not letting the play develop in front of him, right, and then just taking off and going.
Yes.
And the couple of throws that he had, they were good. It took a while for him to read through the defense. But once he saw it, he knew where to go. Those are things that can be worked on. But someone like this, I'm sorry, they scream, if they're going to be anything in the league, would be a backup.
Let me continue.
That's just how I feel about him.
Let me continue with some, and that's the thing. And I'm not saying that he's not. I'm not saying he's going to be anything great. His style, just overall, he put me in mind of a Josh Allen. Let me give you some more numbers, Mike. Last year, he set some North Dakota State University single season records. Mike, his pass efficiency was 193.8. Also, his yards per attempt, 12.1, which is a record at North Dakota State, and yards per play, 9.71. He was a Senior Bowl invite, an NFL Combine participant, and yet PFF ranks him at only 248th overall, Mike, 248th. He's efficient, productive, dual threat, a sleeper. The Steelers are leaving no stone unturned, apparently, as they are looking at the quarterback's room, Mike. And he's probably going to come and go, just as a lot of names have in the past. But as of right now, he did come up this week. And again, I just felt that it was worth talking about him because people want to know what their quarterback situation is here in the Berg.
Yeah, and I wish he had a better touchdown to interception ratio, especially coming out of a smaller school.
Exactly. I want to see 41 touchdowns.
Yeah, 16 passing, 4 interceptions. He did have 13 running, so he's more of a dual threat quarterback, and he's trusting his legs a whole hell of a lot more than his arm right now. He is like any NFL team would see him if they think there's anything in there. He would be that typical 6th, 7th round developmental quarterback. And
absolutely.
Like RB was saying, like a team like the Rams going out there with McVay, Pittsburgh with McCarthy, they make sense. Places where you have head coaches or coaches on your staff that are known for grooming quarterbacks. Yeah, it makes no sense that we looked at him. It makes no sense that some of these other teams are going to look at him and be linked to him in the later rounds. If he gets drafted in the 3rd round or 4th round, that's going to be that's going to raise some eyebrows. That's going to be a hot topic for debate all over the sports world, man, because that low division play with not a lot of great passing stats in the 1 year where you're the main guy, it's going to raise some antennas. But if you think you can do it, why not get your guy? I always say that if you like someone, go get them. If you think you can get something out of them, go get them. The draft is a crapshoot.
Let's move forward on the board here. Mark Malone is saying Carson Beck. He's only 23, and this is the thing that really bugs me, Mike, and bump it. It really confuses me. Maybe during the whole timeline change that the world has seen over the past 5 years or so, maybe something has happened because again, Carson Beck has been the starting quarterback on like the last 30 national in the last 30 national championships. But here he is, Mike, 23 years old. I don't get it either. I don't get it. I don't either. From 2020 to 2024, he was a Georgia Bulldog, and then last year he was a Hurricane. But it's just wild. He should be well into his 40s by now.
He should be, man. He was almost on the Kenny Pickett plan.
Steeler Freak says this Beck looks like Sid from the Ice Age. Yes, he does look like Sid from the Ice Age as well.
That's one I don't have saved. I thought about that the other day, and I forgot to bring it up.
Mark Malone says this Sandusky fired Mike because he had an Asian schlong. I don't know what that means, but I pictured maybe slanted. I don't know. I don't know what an Asian schlong would be, but
I told you that in confidence, and this is how you portray that confidence. You just made the enemy list.
Sulver says, have y'all seen Beck's baby pictures? Just Google cum shot. Right here too. Corey says, why do we even listen to anything Chris Collinworth endorses? He's a bum. He sure is. You know what? I'm not a hater of him. A lot of people hate him. A lot of people hate his voice. He does. I don't hate him yet. I don't know. It's been years he's been on. Maybe I just got used to him. Because again, a lot of people go on and on and on about Chris Collinworth. They hate his voice. They hate his announcing. I personally, I don't. Maybe I'm weird. I don't know. Again, I don't know what it is about Chris Collinsworth. I see how he could be annoying, but you know who's annoying? Who didn't I like last year, Mike? Romo.
Yeah, Romo.
He's annoying.
Yeah, he's gotten worse.
RB says to clarify, I don't think he should go 3-4. However, it won't shock me if a quarterback-friendly team falls in love with him and does.
Yeah, and that's what I meant to say. I kind of worded that weird.
Let's go to Corey. Corey says he looks like a Hey Arnold character.
He looks like one of the dudes from Ed, and Eddie.
Yeah. The one that's head bounces off the ground when he runs.
Yes.
His whole body goes backwards and his head hits off the ground. I love him. That is Carson Beck. Jamal says, laugh my ass off slanted.
This show's gone off the fucking rails.
Tortilla says, I don't care how rich he is. If Carson Beck steals your girl, go ahead and get that surgery, big dog. Ty says, Cole Payton and Green go like 5th roundish. John says, Asian slanted schlong classic. Black Magic Jamal says, this damn just I laugh and Beck's baby pitcher. I tell you what, he's not going to be good for the team, but he'll be good for the show for the next 4 years.
Hey, and if he turns out to be good for the team, that's the cherry on top.
You know what? He's been.
Because I have zero expectations.
Mike, I have not seen him I've not seen him in a national championship for a long time.
Yeah, I know.
I'm
And
just
it's
saying.
like I always say, Danny Warfel won a Heisman in a national championship, but like Beck's been there from like 2 different programs, and
right,
he wasn't the reason why they failed. So
no,
don't talk me into Carson Beck.
You know what? He's gonna be somewhere at the end of the day.
If I hear in the second round we select quarterback, I am going to flip the.
He's gonna be somewhere.
Quarterback Miami, Carson Beck.
Mike, I do want to talk also about a few other things. I'm going to save that till the very end of the show. We did talk briefly about the yes, Ben was on the Joe and Debo show today after our show. Go check it out. I didn't see it. It was 11 o'clock this morning. I was busy doing things for the show, but I am going to check that show out because Big Ben was, in fact, on the Joe and Debo show. I'm interested in seeing that, Mike. But I do want to talk about something that Debo did say just recently, Mike. James Harrison talks up Sebastian Joseph Day, saying that man eats up blocks. Mike, now sometimes my question is, sometimes a lot of these guys, they come and go. It's like a carousel. And some guys, they come and they're on the team. They serve their purpose for the most part. They're a body. And then they go. You cycle out. Then you bring in somebody else. You see this every year. Groups of names. The Sebastian Joseph Day, as far as the knowledge of the player, do you know, Mike, is, again, James Harrison, he's talking him up. He says this guy eats up blocks. He's excited about him. Does Sebastian Joseph Day fall into the category for you as one of the carousel players? And he'll be gone, just as, again, a lot of players do from year to year. Or is this a guy that might be able to eat up some blocks and do some things that we might say, you know what, this guy could be a big part of what the middle of this defensive line is moving forward with the run stop, with the pressure on the quarterback. Mike, Sebastian Joseph Day, what's your comments from Debo?
I agree with Debo. He is good at eating up blocks. I don't think he's your traditional nose, but he is someone like you can move him around the D line. And he might be someone, depending on how well he does this year, he could come back. Like one of those guys you keep bringing back on 1-year deals, stuff like that. I've been a fan of his from afar. I've just seen bits and pieces of him play. I like him. I like that we got him. I think it's a good pickup. Not going to be a starter, but going to be someone when he's in there, you're not going to be like, oh God, our backup D line's in there. We're going to get rain all over. I think he's going to be a nice steady influence on that second wave of rotations when we start rotating guys in and out through the course of the game.
For an example, not to cut you off, Isaiah Loudermilk, Mike, he was here a few years and he fell into that role. If anybody's trying to understand what I'm trying to explain about these carousel players, Isaiah Loudermilk is Harry Mandouche. What was his name, Mike?
Henry Mondu.
Henry Mondu. Now, he falls in that category. You just have guys that just come, they fill the spot, they do the bare minimum. You look for them to be solid. You look for them to be good enough to be a fill-in if your guys, your starters need to step out or whatever. And again, the Harry Mandouches and the Isaiah Loudermilks, is he that? Or again, is there something that we could expect more from a Sebastian Joseph Day, Mike? Because again, those players, they're fly by night. You see them, then they're gone. You're never going to hear about Harry Mandouche the rest of your life. And you know what? Once Loudermilk's gone, you're probably not going to hear about him for the rest of your life either. And that's I'm just trying to get a feel. I'm just trying to get a vibe of what we could expect from Sebastian Joseph Day. Because as we mentioned when RB was here, Mike, not a lot, if anything, has been done with those middle five players on defense, in a defense that was allowing some serious rushing games right up the middle last year.
Yeah, he's a good run stuffer. You're not going to see like big sack numbers out of him, but he's going to be a space eater, a guy that can clean up on tackles. He's way better than those guys. Those guys were like fringe roster
That's
guys.
exciting. I mean,
This guy's a fringe starter type of guy. I really like this signing, and he's going to be someone you bring back for this year, next year. And then you start to go, okay, maybe he's getting a little long in the tooth, but I like him. He's been a good player everywhere he's gone. Here I think he sets up nice to be in a second way, especially if we can get someone to actually play the nose, and then that will allow him to be a nice backup Harmon, backup whoever the nose will be, backup whoever or backup Cam Hayward. I like this signing. He has flexibility up and down the line, but yeah, he's more of a backup than a starter, but he's way better than the guys we've had for a long time here.
That's encouraging because
Tyson, maybe along the lines of like a Tyson Alualu.
We like Alualu.
I think Alualu was a better player, but he's in that kind of mode towards the end of Alualu's career.
Yeah,
when he wasn't like a starter, but was still able to be very productive. Think of him in that type of mold.
Speaking of Alualu, Mike, I don't know what his graduation year is. It might have been last year, but Tyson's boy and Chris Hoke's boy, both were going to North Allegheny, where Joey Porter Jr. went to, Mike. So I think Chris Hoke's boy is going to Pitt. I think, again, I kind of quit keeping track there for a while, so I don't know where they're at if they're still in high school. But Chris Hoke's boy and Alualu's boy, both, even after Alualu left the team, Mike, was still at North Allegheny. So a couple names to keep your ear open for. Hopefully one day could crack the NFL like their dad did.
That'd be awesome.
Let's go right here. Tyrone says, great depth guy, agree, Mike. Also, Tyrone says, he follows up by saying this, we call him Quiet Water, maybe back on Beck. And John says this about Beck. He says, time for this week's Beck ball busting. Mike, that would be a whole segment. If he was here on this team, we would have different things every day for Beck and his eyes.
Busting Beck's balls.
Tuesday on the two Dum Yinzers. A couple more things, Mike, we do got to get into. I do want to ask you and talk to you about Pittman, Michael Pittman Jr. here in just a second. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to talk about him because I have a couple correlations here. So Jackson Smith-Njigba, Mike, he earned a contract that no wide receiver has ever made as much money as JSN is going to make. JSN's contract is a $168.6 million 4-year deal, highest paid wide receiver in the history of the game. Michael Pittman Jr., $17.75 million per year. We make a hell of a deal by bringing in Michael Pittman. The price that we're getting him. So my question to this, it's a two-part question.
Okay.
Are the Seahawks good in a Super Bowl caliber team because they go out and get a guy like JSN and give him a whole shitload of money and put it together? And are we not that team because we continue to go and find the deals? And again, in business, the deals are a good thing. They're saving you money so you could do other things with your money and be more flexible. But my question is this, Mike, again, huge deal, biggest deal in wide receiver history, JSN. Again, Michael Pittman, a pretty friendly deal. What's the difference here? Again, is this why Seattle is winning Super Bowls and they're in contention, Mike, because they're out making big boy moves? I'm not saying Michael Pittman's not a big boy move, but I'm just saying at the end of the day, here we are, another blue light special. Let's get him. We're going to get him on a cheap. We could the contracts, blah, 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 blah. Is this the difference between the teams that are getting it done, Mike, and the teams that aren't getting it done? Because that's a very aggressive, come on, again, the biggest contract ever to a wide receiver.
Yeah,
this team is out winning Super Bowls, and again, us over on the in the blue light special aisle at Kmart, which again, I'm not bad mouthing Pittman at all. I love the move, but here we are doing discounts, and we kind of just do what we do. these teams out there signing the JSNs, Mike.
Well,
Is that part of the difference?
Part of the difference is like JSN was their guy. They drafted, developed him, and
Absolutely.
they were able to lock him up. I think that's the key
That's
right
a
there.
lot of money, though. I mean,
Because like it's been a long time since we've really extended someone from their rookie contract to a new one.
It's
And
rare.
like the first one that's going to come up will probably be the class of Porter and Herbig in Washington. So you have to go how many drafts since like we did that to someone to now. I think the last one was who the hell was the safety? Terrell Edmonds may have been the last one I think that we signed.
Wow.
So that's why right there, a lot of bad drafts. And now that GM's gone, the coach from there is gone, you got these new guys coming in, and now you're going to start seeing they're going to be signing those guys from their first class in, and that's where the big disconnect, or not the disconnect, the difference is between the Seattle and Pittsburgh right now is Seattle had some really good drafts, some great drafts, and were able to land some really good guys. And they were all young on rookie contracts to win the Super Bowl, and now they're being rewarded. Or what we've done is draft guys who put up Hall of Fame numbers but haven't won anything and give them a lot of money, and then couple that in with a lot of bad drafts in a row. And now we have to go and get a Michael Pittman Jr., who good receiver, but not in the class of like a JSN. And we know we had to let someone who is in the class of JSN, George Pickens, go because he's a nutcase, and we didn't know how to control that. And that's the difference right there. They had some really great drafts. I just want
to clear this up because I mean that halfway answers the question. Let me put it another way. Let's say we're not talking about Seattle. Let's say we're talking about another team, any team. I'm talking about a team that goes out and gets a high quality player, pays them a lot of money, and has success. Basically, the question was more about us than it was about Seattle. In our blue light special way of handling things, Mike, it's always got to be a guy in a discount or a guy that we're. And again, I understand that's the business, and this happens all the time amongst teams and players. But at the end of the day, does it reflect on the success and the things that do happen to this team? The fact that everything is always on a discount, is always on the cheap, opposed to teams that aren't afraid to go out and make those bold moves. And again, like one bad bold move could really set your team back. I mean, there's no doubt about that. I get that. But what's your thoughts?
And part of why we can't make some big bold moves is because we have a shit ton of money tied up into Cam Hayward and TJ Watt.
Yeah.
And Alex Highsmith, like non-premium positions, quarterback, left tackle, cornerback, top three. And then you got to figure the next one after that has got to be wide receiver. And where's a lot of the money for Seattle going? Quarterback and wide receiver. Where's our money going? 2 edge rushers and a D lineman. So yeah, it's right. That's why we have to, kind of go like bargain shopping for a Jamil or a Dean and a Pittman Jr. We can't go out and get the top flight guys.
And that's, a lot of people ask that question. The teams that are doing it, they're the teams that are, making noise and getting better. And the Steelers, again, here we are still paying off a lot of money on especially TJ Watt and Cam, Mike. But while we are talking about Michael Pittman Jr., this was what Michael Pittman Jr. says when he was asked about playing under the new coach, Mike McCarthy. He says that McCarthy plans to use him a little differently, Mike, than his role at the Colts. He plans on being more diverse with this team's offense. He says this, Mike, he just talked about diversity more. Obviously, my role in Indy was more that short to intermediate game. In every single game, I thought I could do more, Pittman said. I would leave games frustrated because I thought I had more to offer the team. Going over that with him and then telling him everything I can do and him seeing that and expanding my role in my route tree back to what it was 2 to 3 years ago. I'm really looking forward to that. This is what Michael Pittman Jr. said when asked about about Coach McCarthy possibly putting him in maybe at a slot position every once in a while, changing some things up. And that was the point that was that I took out of this, Mike, was the diversity, the things, different things that he wants to do possibly. And that's a good sign, I think, outside of the wide receiver, outside of Michael Pittman Jr., just for some other things maybe. Again, Mike Tomlin, he played people out of their position, but sometimes it didn't work. But also, Mike, there's times that I thought that he should have, that he didn't.
Yeah.
Encouraged to see that Michael Pittman Jr. is excited. I'm encouraged to see that Michael Pittman, kind of laid it out there for him and said, "This is how it played." I feel like there's more that I could have did out on that field, and I'm excited to see Michael Pittman Jr. out there, seeing what Coach McCarthy could do with the offense. Very excited, Mike. What's your thoughts on Michael Pittman getting his load increased, if you will?
I like it. He can do a lot for this offense. Can line him up just about anywhere. He can do anything. He's a big, physical, tough receiver, not afraid to take a hit, so he can go across the middle. He can play the outside, and I like that he wants to do more, not just, hey, this is all I want to do. This is just my thing, and this is what I'm going to do. No, and I like how McCarthy wants to use those guys, because a big thing in his offense is every wide receiver, he wants you to be more or less be able to play every spot of the wide receiver,
right?
Like the X, the Z, the slot, the this, that, the other. He wants you to be able to play all those positions, so the defense doesn't know what's coming. I like that, and Pittman's on board, and I think he's going to have another good year. He was, God, I just had his stats up. He was like, of course I lost it. Where did he was 11th in touchdowns last year, with 7, and 12th in receptions with 80 yards. So he's still a very productive receiver. And if he can get him even more involved in this offense, and if we pass more, and now him and DK and everyone else, those numbers should be a whole hell of a lot better this year. I'm hoping for it. Or even if we get that same amount of production from him, and if that's just going to open other guys up even more. I have no worries about what Pittman can do in this offense. I think he's going to be a great addition.
I do too. I'm so excited about Pittman.
I mean, we've played Indy for the past 12 years.
I know.
Every year it feels like. So we've watched him get better year after year.
I know.
Watched Minka almost kill him, and him pop, give the thumbs up, say it was a clean hit. I like this guy.
I like Pittman a lot.
He is a stealer.
I agree. I think people are going to love him. Let's move up. I do want to stay on the board here, Mike. Let me grab a few of these messages so we don't fall behind. We're doing well. We're doing well today with the board. Let me go right about. I'm going to go right here. Right here, where Tyrone says, "Nah, that's louder milk." Ty also says, "I think moved on me. Here we go. I think it's the best roster in a while." And you know what, Ty? I would be willing to say the same thing if I didn't go through last year. Just the way that they went out and they got all these big names, and the Slays and the Ramseys, and this is going to be a historic defense. And again, I don't doubt it. I hope that it does become something great and amazing, and it is a very good roster. I would agree with that. But again, at the end of the day, I'm ready for some seeing before I start believing anymore. Because again, it just doesn't seem like any situation. Like we changed this, we changed that, we changed this, we changed players, we changed quarterback, we changed linemen, we changed coordinators, we changed. So I'm ready to start seeing before I start believing. And I hope you're right. Again, I think that you can be right. It's just another year has gone by, and it's been a lot of the same. So a lot to learn this year about the team, certainly under new coaching staff in its entirety. So I want to be excited like that. And again, I was excited last year. I was really excited. They're going on and on about how this defense could be historic. Oh, it was historic, all right.
It's historic and giving me fucking ulcers.
Let's go right here to I'm going to go right here, I think. Tortilla, Beck's balls are crossed too. It's in the injury report. Ty says GPJ going to get the bag with the DB is getting extended. Seahawks just extended. I have no doubt JPJ is going to get paid. He's not going anywhere. They love JPJ. Pittsburgh people love JPJ. He's going to get his money, man. Mark Malone, I'm going to laugh my ass off if we draft Beck and he wins more Super Bowls than Bradshaw. Would you? Can you imagine if Carson Beck becomes the new idol, the new face of the Pittsburgh Steelers, like Terry was in the 70s and Ben? If he just becomes that guy. But there it is.
That guy right there is bringing you 5 Super Bowls, baby.
Nothing screams 5 Super Bowls like that does. Let's go to Steeler Freaky says that is why tickets and merchandise cost so much. Also, Steel Loyal, what's up, man? Always great seeing Steel Loyal on the terrible board. He says, I think Seattle's defense and their coaching has a lot to do. Oh, absolutely. Their defense and their coaches is amazing. But I'm just talking about what teams are doing. You know what I mean? They just gave JSN the most. I mean, this is the biggest contract ever, like literally. And again, at the end of the day, we're deal dwellers. We've always been deal dwellers, and I just wanted to know if that was the difference. You know, they certainly didn't hesitate to pull the trigger on JSN, but Mike proved the point though. A lot of money is tied up with these 2 players on defense. It isn't making us a whole lot of difference at the end of the day, unfortunately. Let's go to Sass. Sass says, hi, Smith. Hi, Smith. Also, Steeler Freak says the Steelers have been the free agent deal-friendly team for years, and it shows. And that's basically the question I was asking. Is being the deal-friendly team, is that how much of a role is that playing in what we are? I think that was ultimately where I was going. Let's go to go right here. Tyrone says, well, this year I say we went a different route by getting Pittman for cheap. Got a great DB duo, Brisker cheap deal, great depth for the D line. It's all up to the draft now. And I agree. I'm happy. I don't disagree with anything that you've been saying, Ty. I hope this is one of the better teams in a long time. I think the roster looks great so far. And again, we have the draft still. So in theory, it's going to improve. RB says Seattle just lost 5 key players to afford to make that move. That bit of a bold move. He says, look at all the talent we missed out on because of TJ. Point taken. Tyrone says, at least we got 2 wide receivers. You know what? That's a huge step in the right direction. Unbelievably. Even to say it seems weird, but yeah, we do. We have 2 wide receivers now.
We got that going for us, which is nice.
It's a step in the right direction for sure. Corey at Don't Drink That says it's also a fact that we can't get certain players because of our uncertainty at quarterback. No wide receiver will come to town if Mason Rudolph is throwing them the ball. I wouldn't. Let's go to Corey follows it up by saying at RB, right? TJ had his prime. Now it's time to move on from him. There's too many feelings on this team. They don't know when to let each other go. It's kind of gay. Laugh my ass off. But you're not wrong. Mike, that TJ Watt deal.
That was one of the worst. It's one of the worst deals in team history.
It's preventing us from getting better, unfortunately.
Dan Rooney would have been like, I let Franco Harris retire as Seattle Seahawk. I let Joey Porter walk out the door. You 2 who won nothing can go. Thank you for your time here. Thank you for what you've done for the team and the community. Go elsewhere. We need to move on and get better. Dan Rooney would not have stood for this.
Tyrone says, facts, no wide receiver wants to come no quarterback. Laugh my ass off. Hope A-Rod comes back with the wide receiver threat we have now. Still need 2 more in the draft. We do, and also a little bit of help. I think, Mike, certainly on the offensive line will go a long way, especially if Aaron comes back. I don't want, another thing, we're like, he needs receivers. He needs to not have his happy feet either. And
exactly.
Mike, that's going to certainly help that if we shore up this offensive line. And a couple things about that. You do have Frazier who's doing very well in the middle. You do have McCormick who's doing very well at guard. You have Fatanu who's doing very well at right tackle. This can potentially be a pretty damn strong line. If you fix up those 2 positions, Mike, and again, give a guy like Aaron Rodgers with weapons, a little bit of time to throw, it could be a whole different result than it was last year. And, as you and RB were saying, Mike, these early rounds in these drafts lately, it's been all about the trenches. So for that reason, Mike, part of a few other reasons makes me believe that that offensive guard position is looking really, really attractive to the Steelers this year.
Oh yeah, and if this new staff is comfortable with running out Dylan Cook, I like go guard, go guard. It's not a sexy pick. People are probably going to boo the pick when it happens in Pittsburgh, but it might be the right pick to do. Like I keep saying it, man. Go back and watch that Super Bowl where the Chiefs lost to the Eagles. Eagles dominated both lines. They couldn't do a single thing.
Like we went on and on about their lines.
They're one and lost in the trenches, man. And you're setting your team up to start a young quarterback. Give them an offensive line. Go back and watch Tim Couch. His career collapsed in Cleveland because no offensive line. The Carr down in the Texans sacked 80 times his rookie year. Was never the same. No offensive line. If you don't have an offensive line, but you go, hey, let's go get our young quarterback, you're going to get them killed.
Just like every team, like that stinks and gets that number one quarterback position, they generally don't have great trenches because they're the worst team and they just have the worst schedule. Yeah. So you see how a lot of times these teams shoot themselves in the foot by doing that, going out and grabbing the best possible quarterback there is, but you ain't have nothing else. Yeah. So
look what 2 years ago, the Bears, when they drafted Caleb Williams, they drafted a bunch of offensive players, skill position players. They brought in a bunch of skill players on offense, and everyone's like, oh my God, he sucks. Yeah, because he was under pressure. And what did they do the following offseason? They invested in the offensive line, and guess what? He had time to play and show his ability. The teams in the NFL build their teams backward. They get their quarterback, get their skill positions, then scramble to get an offensive line. No, you do what works, man. You build from the inside out. And that's what the Steelers need to keep doing. We are far from being a Super Bowl contender, but one way to jump that is to have a damn good offensive line and defensive line. Don't deviate from the plan.
No, you're not wrong. Ty says this. I think TJ will bounce back. You're not wrong, though, but watch out for number 90 this year, his revenge. Steel Loyal says CJ Ayu, Mike, about to unlock a new version of TJ Watt. Maybe the new coaching staff could do it. Mike, maybe moving him around, maybe show some different looks, not having him come from the same exact spot 100% of the time. Again, you take the element of surprise away. You go out there sometimes, Mike, you step out of the huddle and you know that you have to block Watt and you can't find him and you don't know where he's at yet. And he finally steps up to the line and sets himself right before the play starts. Just something to keep the guys off balance. Like there's been too many games when I've seen rookie tackles handling TJ Watt. And at the end of the day, people go on and on about, TJ's constantly double teamed. Like I said, I seen rookies handle him, Mike.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
DeJuan Jones, his rookie year in the Browns, fucking ate his lunch because Watt kept doing the same move over and over and over again. Like, teams no longer fear him. They'll chip him just in case, but
they'll respect him. Absolutely.
They tend to stop doing it after a while because they realize, we don't have to. And the past 2 seasons, the Steelers were trying to move TJ Watt around. 2 years ago, they stopped doing it because every fucking outside linebacker got hurt. Last year, they stopped doing it quick. Now, was it because of the coaching, or was it because of TJ Watt, or is it because the coaches saw that Watt was not productive doing what he needed to do in those new positions, moving around a little bit? It's going to be interesting to see what this new coaching staff is going to do with him. They got to figure something out because paying him a shit ton of money and you're only getting 7 sacks. Your other edge on a rookie contract is getting that.
Let's go to Jamal. Jamal says TJ's done, son. Ty says, I guess we'll see. Ty follows up.
I hope he's not done. My God, I want him to do well. I want Cam to do well.
I mean, while he's on this team, I want him to do well too.
Yeah.
I don't want him to do poorly. Tyrone says Tomlin's fault. To be honest, maybe not waste TJ's prime with no offense. LOL. Sass says this: if it was DeMonte KZ that almost killed him, not Minka.
That's right. That's right. I know both of those guys like to kill people back there.
Jamal says, LOL. Yeah, I just don't have faith in him anymore. Steel Loyal says Minka almost killed him too. LOL. We always hit Pittman so hard in every game. That was Steel Loyal. Let's go to Steel Loyal, where he follows that up and says, that's why he said, thank God I'm on their team now. I like that. I like people being, fearful of the Steelers, man. It's just, again, being physical has always been a trademark of this team. I hope it continues with the new staff. Also, Ty says, just saying funny how the offseason Tomlin leaves, then we get 2 wide receivers. Makes you wonder. I don't know what the hell that was all about. I don't know how much Arthur Smith's influence played, and I don't know. I don't know what the hell that was, but I just know that I've never seen it before in my life. Let's go right here to Jamal. Jamal says this Black Magic. He says Tomlin's fault. TJ wasn't productive is the craziest ish I ever heard. So you mean Tomlin is the reason TJ was successful? Shaking my head. Tyrone says this. No, I'm saying maybe we had an offense, we could win a playoff game.
Well, we had offenses when TJ Watt was here in his prime.
What's that?
We had offenses here when TJ Watt was in his prime and still couldn't do anything.
I don't know what the hell that. I think generally he's probably talking about the last 5 years is what I'm guessing. It would seem to me. I could be wrong. But dude, let's continue on. I now have to find where we're at, Mike. Help me out a little bit here, would you?
Of course, my chat's down too.
I mean, just talk.
Just talk. Okay, yeah. I'm gonna veer away from the TJ Watt talk because I feel like I bury him too much. I want to swing back to the draft real quick. I want to go back. I want to take a look at something here, guys, real quick. Wide receivers again, because we've been talking about that. Like my guy is Jacoby Lane. Like RB and I talked about him. I think he's going to be a steal if we can get him in like the 3rd round. And there's someone else I like too. I like for some odd reason. I've just been falling in love also with Casey Concepcion. I like his route running ability. And he's a little smaller than what we like 5'11", $190-ish AB type, but I kind of like him. But I don't want to get him in the 1st round. If maybe in the 2nd round, if we want to go that route and go for a smaller, quicker route running guy, I kind of like him. I like him more than I think RB and Chop do. Just wanted to throw that out there.
Thank you, Mike. Let me jump in here. Ty says this. No, I'm saying maybe we could have if we had an offense, we could win a playoff game. Ty says this as well. I mean, how many quarterbacks have we had with Tomlin the last 7 years? Ty follows it up by saying again, wasting his prime. Corey, don't drink that. Oh, yeah, I'm not getting hyped up for shit until at least week 5. I'm going to be looking for holes because we always ride high for the first 4 weeks, and then we want to die alternating weeks. All in. Let's go to Tortilla. 5 Super Bowls. More like 5 super eyeballs. Let's go right here to Corey says this. Don't drink that. That thing looked like it screamed like a cat with a hemorrhoid. Vega Mike, Tyrone is saying, dude says TJ is not done. Make excuses for piss poor production for overpaid receiver, but rash TJ for a poor. The thing is, I mean, if you make all the money, he's making quarterback 1 money, and that's my problem, dude, because that money generally is somewhere in somebody's hands that is more involved in the game more. It's you understand what I'm saying?
That affects the game more.
It affects the game more because if that money that TJ was getting made was going to a franchise quarterback, that person touches the ball every single play. That person decides the game. That person is the person that you know if they're playing well that day, it depends. It affects the way the team plays. It affects the results. Where if the edge doesn't have a great day, it doesn't necessarily mean a whole lot. I mean, he could make a couple big plays that could be the difference into a game. So you're paying him quarterback 1 money. I mean, money that guys get paid to be the man and to help teams, ultimately give what you have to win a game. Where again, TJ and people at that position, it's not the quarterback. It's not quarterback 1. And again, you're kind of putting yourself behind the 8 ball, I think, by continuing at his age to prolong that. Because again, you wouldn't think that he's going to improve as he gets older. He can. Again, it's There's no answer. So I just think ultimately to do what you're saying is this. I would rather have quarterback money in a franchise quarterback's hand. Again, TJ's been here for a million years making all that money. How long has it been since we had a franchise quarterback? How long has it been since we actually done some of those things that good teams are doing? But we're going to give all the money to TJ, and if he has a bad year and only puts up 7 sacks, he falls behind Nick Herbig, the guy that backs him up in sacks. Is that the smartest move we can make? Again, continue to give him all that money and get subpar results. If he's going to get that money, he needs to give you top edge results year after year after year. I know he's not perfect. I know he's human, but at the end of the day, look at the way that somebody like Myles Garrett plays, or Micah Parsons for that matter. Do you see that fight? Do you see that energy? Do you see what they bring every single play when TJ Watt plays on Sundays? I just don't anymore. I don't know if it's not there or what the case is, but again, the money he makes, I want a lot more from him. Otherwise, that money could be used elsewhere for somebody that is going to make big plays and make a difference in every game. So that's the point I think was trying to be made with TJ there. I don't think people hate him. I just think for the money he makes, people want more. They think that they've got to get more. Otherwise, why not give it to somebody else who is going to give you more?
I'm going to hold the star player to the star player standard. And
right.
He has not lived up to it. We here in Pittsburgh have no problem. We held Dan Moore, a third, fourth round pick, to a first round standard when he played left tackle. But yet TJ Watt, we make a million excuses for. In 2024, in the must-win games against Philly, Baltimore, KC, and Cincinnati, he had 2 sacks and 7 fucking tackles. And then in the playoffs, did he even play? Because it was zeros across the board. The guy has 1 sack in 4 playoff games with a grand total of 14 total tackles. This is an all-time great who does not play like an all-time great when we need him to play like an all-time great. His skills are on the decline. It's obvious he does not have the explosiveness that he once did. He does not have the strength that he once did, and he wasn't that strong to begin with. He's on the decline. He's not dropping back in the coverage like he did a lot early in his career to disrupt the passing game when he was great at that. He's not playing the run as effectively as he did early in his career. Yes, he gets those great punch outs, which are all the money phenomenal.
He makes, Mike. They continue to run at him. What am I paying you quarterback one money for? Is the question I think ultimately.
Yeah, it was a piss poor contract that's going to set the franchise back for years.
And you got a rookie, you got Herbig on a rookie contract, getting better numbers.
And we might lose Herbig because we can't get out of his contract. And you don't want to move Highsmith because Highsmith is playing better than Watt. So therefore, we're going to see a great young player walk out the door, and we're going to go, hey, man, we got TJ Watt, 1 helmet. I'd rather have the better player. And I will say this till I die. Franco Harris won 4 Super Bowls, a Super Bowl MVP, retired a fucking Seattle Seahawk.
Let's go. And Joe Montana finished as chief. What's the,
Exactly.
Joe, even Jerry Rice, Mike, he went to about 5 teams before he wrapped it up.
He played on the Raiders. He played 3 other places, it feels like.
Denver,
great players are allowed to go elsewhere. Wayne Gretzky played for 17 different hockey teams.
All right, let's put Wayne on the bench. Let's move on, Mike. I don't want to get too far behind. Steel Loyal says I really like our new outside linebackers coach. Dude said piss poor. Do Metcalf. Ty says DK will do better with McCarthy. Dexter, I want to say welcome to the show. Welcome to the terrible board. Dexter saying safety or D lineman. Omar, come on. Let's go to Steel Loyal says this. Metcalf still almost had 1,000 yards even on a bad offense and missing 3 games. He wasn't as bad as we thought. Dexter says safety, lineman, wide receiver, guard, and comeback top cornerback, maybe top 5, pick 5 or maybe that's what's being said. Ty saying Branch and Lane. Mike also Steel Loyal says I'm going to keep pounding the table for Ted Hurst. Ty says, or loyal to Steel. Let's go right here. Or him loyal. I'm sorry, Tortilla. He getting paid like $6 million a sack. Tyrone, he says, I see you're saying don't disagree at all. I'm just see how he performs with the cap. The 41 cap hit this year. Dude says the stats when he's not playing. Vegas says TJ will retire after 2 seasons. Dude also says the franchise quarterback we passed up because we don't have money. I mean, we could have surely brought in Sam Darnold last year. I was saying that he was going to be a quarterback that was going to be a franchise quarterback. He wins back-to-back 14-win seasons. Only the second quarterback in the history of the game behind Tom Brady to have back-to-back 14-win seasons. I said, watch this guy. He's going to go somewhere and he's going to do well. And we had an opportunity. We said, you know what we said? It was probably the system in Minnesota. He's probably not going to do that well because, he played somewhere that really catered to him. And what did he do? He went on to win a Super Bowl. And again, that's somebody else quarterback, franchise quarterback right there. Let's move forward. As again, another year we go on without ours. So Ty says, agree with the season when the cap hits last year was 23 million. Tortilla says, swear players start families and all of a sudden suck. That's why all the good players get domestic violence cases.
Oh, damn.
Steel Loyal says they forget about that. Tyrone. Steel Loyal also says Schultz Odell Beckham Jr. received renewed interest in recent days after flag football performance. Fully intends to play in 2026.
Jumping over dudes that are 5'6" and 162 pounds.
Vegas says Franco left over $200,000. That is the only reason he left, $200,000, which then it would have been enough to make you wealthy for sure. RB says TJ in his 9 years hasn't developed anything new, always relies on that first step, and that has disappeared. There isn't no developing on anything going on with him now is what RB is saying. Mike, we're talking about money. I'm going to go to the opposite end of the spectrum as this is just where we're at in the show. Going to turn the direction a little bit, talk about Ryan McCollum. Mike, as he also gets re-signed, this is what Ryan McCollum's making, Mike, 1 year, $1.33 million. So you got some players just happy to, be on the team, basically. Like $1.33 million with a $75,000 signing bonus.
And he will live up to every red cent of that contract, as a quality backup.
Again,
probably has more playoff sacks than TJ Watt.
Ryan McCollum has more playoff sacks than Watt. Let's go back. The dude says not many thought Darnold was that guy. You know what? I might have been the only guy. I might have been the only person saying it for about 4 years. I give you
full credit, Ryan.
Because he didn't even go to Minnesota before I was telling you that he was going to be the guy.
No, you when he was coming out of Carolina after he went from the Jets down to Carolina, you're like, Steelers should take a flyer on him. I'm like, no, he sucks. And you're like, no, he has talent. I'm like, yeah, in USC he did, but I give you 100% credit. You have been nothing but on board for Sam Darnold for ever since you and I started talking about sports on this show.
He falls in the category, and again, he proved himself. Whether what he does moving forward, that's going to tell the story of what his career is. But at the end of the day, we've been starting Mitch Trubisky, and we've been starting the guys that we've been starting. So at the end of the day, we're still getting discount double check deals at the quarterback position, the most important position on the field in football. Again, I don't think you could skimp that at the end of the day. I just don't. Teams that skimp on the quarterback doesn't seem to win many titles.
No, they do not.
Let's move on the board, though. I'm going to go right here to Steel Loyal. He says, it's okay with this Watt talk. We'll see how he does this year. And listen, I hope you're right, dude. I hope that the Watt comes out and turns it up and does great things this year and gets back to where he was. I'm just saying we can only talk about the most recent things, and that was him being non-existent the year before we last in the last 5-game losing streak that we had to wrap up the season. And then this year, again, seven sacks. 7 sacks. You got less sacks than a guy on his rookie contract. So again, I mean, you just have to it's all about the money at the end of the day. It's a business.
Keanu Benton has 1 sack in 3 playoff games. That is tied with TJ Watt and Cam Hayward.
Keanu Benton is tied with TJ Watt for playoff sacks. Just keep that in mind. Let's go right here. Black Magic. Jamal says, thank you, RB. TJ is done. son. Also, Ty says this, Mike. You know when they might extend. Oh, where'd it go? Tyrone says, Mike, you know when they might extend, or guys getting impatient. Steel Loyal says it's up. Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, I think they usually negotiate around training camp is when they start their negotiations to extend players. That's usually their thing. They work all training camp to try and get them done before the season starts. That's just the Steelers' way of doing business. So I wouldn't hold my breath.
Steel Loyal says this, it's up to TJ if he's willing to develop his game. He might be stuck in his ways, but if he's open to learn, the sky is the limit. I mean, for that kind of money, he should be open to learn.
You should be adding something new to your repertoire
I'm not
every year.
I'm not paying you for your numbers to go down. He should absolutely be 100% open to improving his game.
Every great player in every sport scouts himself in the offseason. What do I need to work on? I'm going to work on that while maintaining everything else. You know, why he hasn't, I don't know.
Let's go right here to Jamal. Jamal says, dude can't teach an old dog new tricks. That's the case some of the times, and I guess you can't rule it out. Steel Loyal said that's horseshit. LOL. Jamal says this, I've seen TJ manhandled on one-on-ones for 2 years straight by rookies. Absolutely manhandled. Let's go to Corey. Corey says, you know what they say, happy husband don't get bludgeoned. Am I right, guys?
Jesus Christ.
What
the fuck is going on?
Ty says, I've also seen TJ keep us in and that's the thing. I want you to acknowledge that I do acknowledge that every once in a while he will punch a ball out late in the game that allows us to stay in the game and possibly lead the victory. But is anything else in life? What have you done for me lately? Right? Yeah. What's been done over the past year and a half? He had, getting the injury, the dry needle, of course, wasn't his fault. But at the end of the day, of the other 53 guys on the team, who had the dry needle accident that kept him out of important games like the season? TJ friggin' Watt. That could have happened to anybody, but it didn't. It happened to the guy who's getting paid quarterback money. So now you don't have him or the quarterback one with all the money, where all the money went to. So again, I just don't know. We have to. I know, and that number keeps going down, John. John is due to saying 7 sacks last season, the year 19 before that. It keeps going down. That's the problem. I think part of the problem anyway. But again, I'm not arguing. I want him to do well. I think that he can do well. It's just, are we going to get that TJ Watt back? As people get older, they tend to decline. So we will see. We don't know. We don't know, John. Or dude, you were 100% right, because we don't know. We will see, though. Let's go to right here where Steel Loyal says, I've seen TJ do way more good than bad. Fair. Thanks, Mike, is what Tyrone is saying. Also, Steel Loyal, last year was his worst year, so it's fresh on our minds. I could go for that. Let's go right here to don't drink that for that kind of money. TJ should be open to the defensive coordinator position if he's not getting sacks. He should be doing everything possible for that money, if that's the money you're going to get paid.
Because there could be a guy with 7 sacks. He did have 2 interceptions, so it's nice to know that he can still drop back into coverage. 3 forced fumbles. That's awesome. But my God, he just underwhelmed.
And again, maybe it was a down year. We'll see how this goes. Again, under new coaches, new coordinators, maybe. And that's dude. I get it, dude. Believe me. He says I'm still cautiously optimistic. That's the thing. I'm not. I don't think that you're wrong. I'm not saying that you're. I want to see it start moving in the other direction for TJ, because that is a lot of money to not get the results. That's all I'm saying. Let's check out some more messages here, guys. Agreed, he needs to step up. That is what Ty says. Steel Loyal agrees. Says exactly, John. He agrees with John there. Jamal says that's the real problem, how much we pay him to be the face of the franchise but never won a playoff game. That kind of it's in a nutshell, isn't it? Isn't it, Jamal? That's kind of it in a nutshell. A lot of money to him, but he's the face of a team that hasn't won a playoff game in quite some time. Let's go to Dude says, I'm still cautiously optimistic. Damn it, that's bro, it's all good. That's why we're here. You know what I'm saying? Talk about our Steelers. Steel Loyal said, that's not all on TJ. LOL. And you're right, of course. Sass says this. Sass says TJ with good speed. One with good speed. Aging speed. Rushers fall off sooner than others. TJ might recover from last season, but we shall see. We aren't paying a quarterback, so it's really with whatever, really. But it is too rich. Jamal says, yeah. Still loyal. Ty or tortilla. And finally, let me grab this one. We're going to go to the last subject, Mike, as that's where we be. Ty says this Tomlin can't get quarterback room or wide receiver. Main reason, or sign these old ass DBs, or draft shitty players, or this old ass scheme, or who hired Canada and Smith. Mike, last but not least, Roger Goodell. I hope you're ready to boo him, because in 30 days, Mike, he gets booed every year at the draft. You got to remember. You better bring it. Roger Goodell says this: if the draft goes good in Pittsburgh, it could return within the decade, Mike, NFL's second biggest event, only behind the Super Bowl, if it does well, which I'm expecting it does. Of course, the size is the concern. But if it does well, Mike, Roger Goodell says the draft could be back in Pittsburgh. I think what the logic is with this is some of the cities now that aren't going to get Super Bowls, your Green Bays because of weather, your St. Louis's because of weather, Pittsburgh, it is the second biggest event in the NFL. So knowing that none of those cities are going to get Super Bowls, I think maybe along those lines, kind of you could read what Goodell is saying here one more time. Roger Goodell, if the draft goes good in Pittsburgh, it could return within the decade. But I think ultimately that's what it is, Mike. I think that they're finally working it into those cities now that are never going to get a Super Bowl.
Yeah, I like that. I was real hesitant when they took it out of New York because it was there for a long time. I like that whole atmosphere there. But once they started moving it around, it's grown on me. And if that's what they're going to do to placate the fan bases that are never going to have a Super Bowl in their city, bring in the draft, I like it. I love it. Everyone has been a success so far. So I'm really worried about this Pittsburgh one just because of the layout of the city. I don't think anyone understands how fucked up the layout is with all the rivers and stuff. It's like trying to host the draft in Venice, Italy. You know, you're surrounded by water everywhere you go. There's hills. It's just a poor layout, but I think Pittsburgh's going to pull it out, and I hope we do pull it out, and I hope it does go well because I want it to come back here every 10 years or every 5 to 6 years come back to Pittsburgh because we're a football hotbed, man. Everyone loves the football here in Western PA, and the airport's easy to get into, man. It is a great thing for the city, and I just hope we pull it out, man.
I was looking at the aerial view a little bit earlier before we went on today, and I'm just thinking to myself, my God, I'm like, where is 750,000 people going to fit? Because we say it all the time, like when there's, we're filling the stadium with 60,000 for a Steeler game. It's pretty jam-packed down on the North Shore.
It's insane.
And people can say, well, it's not just the North Shore. It is downtown as well. It is also to the point. But again, that's 11 times the people that are jammed down on the North Shore for a Steeler game. So again, very interesting, Mike. I hope it goes well. I'd love to see it continue to come back. But it's going to be interesting. It's certainly going to be interesting as, again, you're right. I don't think people, certainly from the outside of town, realize how compact Pittsburgh actually truly really is.
In these roads, if you're on this street and somehow it continues over here on this way, you have to make 4 turns to get onto the same street. Everyone's going to get lost. I kind of want PennDOT to have a traffic cam up on the Fort Pitt Bridge coming through the tunnel when you have to navigate 4 lanes over to get to where you need to. It's going to be like death race getting into town. It's going to be great.
It's going to be.
It is too.
I know.
We know the secret way to get in, but we ain't sharing.
No, I'm not giving my secrets.
No, fuck no.
So I need 600,000 people on my
driving our way.
Yeah, have that. Let's grab a few more, Mike, as we are at that time of the show. Let's go right here to Steel Loyal. Jamal hates all the white players. You know what? So do I.
What was that?
He says, Steel Loyal says Jamal hates all the white players. Laughed my ass off. I said, so do I. You seen our receiver room last year. Come on. You know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about.
The exciting whites.
Squeege TV. Sometimes, like I always say, like sometimes you just would rather have a brother. Sometimes they're just faster. Sometimes it's just how it plays out.
Or historically, they're better at the wide receiver position. just going by average here.
I got to be honest with you. So Squeege says I'll certainly be booing Goodell. It's going to be a blast. Again, Mike, the booing, it's a tradition in the NFL.
Yeah.
The draft, it's going to be a lot of fun. Let's see, going right here. Tyrone says love Tomlin, but I'm absolutely same here. At the end of the day, I do too. He's going down in my team's history as one of the top three. I mean, come on, the very tippy top, Mike, of the coaching numbers. One of the big three in my lifetime. Mike Tomlin. From this point, Mike, I have no reason to badmouth him. I can make comparisons, but at the end of the day, like Noel and Tomlin and Cowher, you know what? They're going to go down in Steeler lore as being something special. So, but again, I will be honest with you as well. Squeege says, there's two things I can certainly say about that night is I'll be more buzzed than normal, and I will boo Goodell. I love it. I love hearing it from Squeege. Dude says this good. Goodell isn't earning his money. Gotcha on that. RB Roger Rosengarten has absolutely dominated TJ Watt in the 5 games he played him in.
Yep.
Tortilla says Roger Goodwill. Let's go right here. Squeech says, imagine the talent Pittsburgh could acquire without TJ and Hayward's money. The legendary Steelers, but not it's not worth that price anymore. And you know what? It's interesting to think about. Steel Loyal says, I do love my brothers. Of course. Absolutely. Especially if they're Steeler fans. Let's go right here to Christopher. My man. What's up, Christopher? It's always great seeing you. Christopher says this. We have a few Steeler bars in Miami and Miami Beach. They are going to be so crowded and have awesome beer deals. That is awesome, Christopher. Nice. That is awesome. You know, I'd love to see everybody in town for the from the board for the draft, but I know that that's not possible. So I like hearing this kind of stuff. That sounds like Christopher is going to have a great time. In the Pittsburgh bars in Miami. That's going to be awesome. Mike, why don't you tell us something awesome and tell us about that website?
The Dum Yinzers.com. Check it out, everyone. I got my mock draft up there that I think saves the franchise. It's a franchise saver, so check it out at the2dumyinzers.com. Link just posted in there. And we also got Ryan and I's social media links over there, so check it out at the2dumyinzers.com.
Go check it out, everybody. A lot of cool stuff. Mike does a lot of work over there, and I'm going to be honest, since he's changed it over, I liked it before, but I think it looks great. There's a lot of stuff over there. He does have his Monday mock drafts. Also, there is a lot of stuff written by Chop and by RB. If you're interested in things that RB has to say here on the show, do check his articles out. It's very, very well written and good stuff over there as well. Go check out the website at www.d2dumyinzers.com. That's www.d2dumyinzers.com. Mike, today is going to be a draft question. Again, I don't know if there's possibly enough draft questions to do for 30 days in a row, but Mike, it's early on in the game. Today is going to be a draft question. I'm going to do as much as I can. Again, you get to a point where you start running out of all the good questions, but Mike, 30 days out from the draft, this is the question of the day. Put on your thinking caps. Everybody at home, put your thinking caps on as well as we get into this draft trivia question of the day.
Let's do it.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Here we go. Question of the day. The 2026 NFL Draft will be held in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. What is the only other year that it was held in Pittsburgh? Dun, dun, dun. Now let me read it again. The 2026 NFL Draft will be held in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Wow. What is the only other year that it was held in Pittsburgh? I have 2 hints if you have trouble, but think about it for a minute. Think it over. We're live 5 days right here, Mike, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. every day right here on the Tube.
On Tube.
Grab a couple messages. Think it over. And again, I might give you some, I have hints. I don't want to give them to you because it might give it away, but if you need it, I will give them to you. Again, question of the day. The NFL Draft of 2026 is held in Pittsburgh, PA. What is the only other year the only other year that it was held in Pittsburgh. Let me grab a couple messages off the board while you do think that over. Everybody else, if you have any guesses, you think you know, do throw it up on the board. Christopher says this. He says it's going to be wild in all the bars in the burg. Absolutely. Again, if you're familiar with the size, I think people are going to be packed like sardines at some places, Mike, because again, it can get pretty packed on the night of a Steeler game. Multiply that crowd times 11-ish at the end of the day. It's going to be a blast. Any way you slice it. Tortilla says this, Mike, with the 21st pick of the NFL draft, the Pittsburgh Steelers select number 6, bathroom stall. That is the biggest need, apparently.
That's number 1 on the draft board. Number 1 need, number 1 best player available. More shitters.
Corey says this: Louisville, Kentucky has like 3 Steeler bars and 1 Eagles bar. And you know what? When you go to Ocean City, Maryland, they have Steeler bars, and I love it because you don't see Baltimore bars, Ravens bars here. But I like being in their territory and going to a Steeler bar. That's pretty. It's a rush. Jamal is saying 1979. He says, I just threw a number out there. 1979 is my guess. Not a bad guess, Jamal. Mark Malone, he says, in Arkansas, they still have the rule of thumb. You can beat your wife with a switch no more wider than your thumb. You can do it once a month, but good news if you wait till the end of the month. That's using your noodle, Mark Malone. As I wouldn't expect anything less, Mark. That's you know what? I'm giving him a game ball.
Be there 2 days in a row.
He's getting a game ball. That's that's using your noggin. Let's scoot up right here. 1969. Tortilla's guess is also Mark Malone did clear that up. He said you could beat her 2 days in a row. Christopher is saying 1972. Corey says this: my wife and I are talking about going to Pittsburgh for a Steeler game this season. I'll have to hit you guys up to have a beer somewhere when we can meet up. Absolutely, dude. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Ty is saying 1974. Tortilla says 69. Christopher says 72. Jamal's saying 1979. Mike, what is your thought process before I do give you any hints?
I have no idea. I never knew the draft was in Pittsburgh, so it had to be in the past.
All right.
Is it before the Reagan administration?
Do you want your first hint?
Yes, I need my first hint.
It was before the Reagan administration. It was before the Super Bowl era.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna go with.
Hold on, I have another hint. If you want the other hint.
Oh fuck yeah!
All right, so let me hear your thought process first, and I'll give you the second part of the hint.
So before the Super Bowl era, I was gonna go like 1964.
64. Okay, hold on to that thought. Corey says I'm going to assume it's a year after we won the Super Bowl, so 1980. Steel Loyal saying missed a question. I was making lunch, but I'm going to say it's 70. The question is this for Steel Loyal. He says this. The question is this, Steel. The 2026 NFL draft will be held in Pittsburgh, PA. What is the only other year that the NFL draft, and it might not have even been the NFL yet, has been in Pittsburgh, guys? The draft. When was the only other year that it was held in Pittsburgh is the question. A few different answers on the board. Mike is saying 64. Ty is saying 74. Tortilla 69. Christopher 72. Jamal 1979. Mike, now don't make that a final answer because I have one more hint for you guys. Steel Lewis is gone. All right, here you go. You guys want the other hint?
Yep.
Think about the Jews. Think about the Jews. I'm just going to leave it at that. If it doesn't help you, if it does help you, it was before the Super Bowl era. Think about the Jews. 64 is what Steel Loyal is saying. Mike, does that help you out at all?
Well, we got the Holocaust.
We do have
all of World War II.
We do have World War II.
We got the 1920s to the 1940s.
Mm-hmm,
the creation of Israel. Sometime
the fucking
after.
40s is what Steel Loyal says. Steel Loyal is putting it together. Go ahead, Mike. Continue. You're getting there.
I'm gonna go with.
As you're thinking, Christopher is saying they're going 1942. Dude is saying 1959 now, 37, 42. Now they're switching up after the
Thinking of the Jews.
Thinking of the Jews. They changed their answer. So before the Super Bowl era, Mike, second hint, think of the Jews. What year was the draft held in Pittsburgh?
He's got the eye of the Jew.
Crush
1947.
Hey, remember Crush the Jew? The crushing of the Jew eggs on Borat? Have you ever seen Borat?
Yes.
The very first scene when they were crushing. All right, beside the point. Anyway,
All I can think of is in Beer Fest. Dude's drinking the beer. He got the eye of the Jew.
get the eye of the Jew. I'm not making fun. I respect the Jewish people. Let's see.
1947.
47 is what you're saying. Ty is saying 45. Chad is saying 1963. The damn Jews is what Steel Loyal is saying.
1963. The Jews killed Kennedy.
Hey, we don't know that. As far as you know what? They could have, as a matter of fact. But that's a whole other story for a whole other day. As nobody knows who killed Kennedy. Let me grab Squeegee. Says, I remember jumping out of my seat at Roosters off branch B-dubs and looking like a crazed person. Squeegee also says, I'm pretty sure when we drafted Burris, we had a chance at Chad Pennington or something like that, and I was so bummed out. He was a MAC quarterback, wasn't he?
Oh, he a weak-armed quarterback, too.
Squeegee says, this question, who was your favorite and least favorite draft picks, how you felt at the time? Oh, that's a good one. We'll get to that here in just a sec. And let me grab Steel Loyal, and then we're going to get we're going to expose the answer, Mike. We're going to put the answer out. Steel Loyal says, I say, make fun of every race. You know what I do, too? That's exactly how I am. He says, we're all the scum of the earth. At the end of the day, I don't disagree with you, Steel. As a matter of fact, I enjoy race humor. I really do. So here's the question of the day. Here's the answer. I'm going to give you the hints again, guys. The 2026 draft will be held in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. What is the only other year that it was held in Pittsburgh? Guys, the hints are it was before the Super Bowl era, and think about the Jews. I see a lot of answers being changed to the 40s because that would make sense. Mike, is your final answer 1946?
1947.
1947, and that's your final answer?
Yeah, final answer.
Right. Locking you in. You were locked in on 1947. RB says 1933. Guys, the correct answer is the 2026 NFL Draft will be held in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. What is the only other year that it was held in Pittsburgh, guys? It was 1948.
Oh!
The year that the Jew was reconnected with their land. 1948, the land of Israel, Jerusalem, all that stuff, Mike. 1948. Everybody was really close. Once they started making their 40s.
Yeah, I just couldn't.
There you go. 1948. There was a draft right here in Pittsburgh, PA. Kind of crazy, huh?
That is crazy.
You don't think about it. I mean, that's something that we should know.
Yeah. I'm gonna pull the derpy card. How should I know? It happened before I was born.
I know. How the hell did that guy how did that guy pass anything in school?
Oh, exactly. What do you mean I'm going to learn letters? That happened before I was born.
Letters. I want to learn letters. Steel Loyal says, congratulations, Jews. Steel John says 69. Also, damn, Mike, was what Ty says. I was 3 off. You guys, again, once the clue came out, it became simpler. I thought everybody did well. 1948 is the final answer, Mike. 1948, 2026. And again, if it goes well, they will consider bringing it back within the decade. So, again, I think it's going to go well. I just think that the size, we're going to find out a lot about that as the time comes. Just 30 days away. Chad says Mike was only just one number off. It was only one number.
Oh, so close.
So close. I do want to say a few things before we do get ready to wrap it up for the day. I always got to give props to our people, guys at Duquesne Pilsner. Mike and I, we love Duquesne Pilsner beer, always on tap. And the people at Duquesne Pilsner really go out of their way to help us out as far as promoting our show. So we like to do the same for them and just put it out there, guys. It's now available at the Eagle. You can get a Giant Eagle for in 6-packs and 12-packs, and you can get it wherever cases are sold as well. Again, if you don't drink beer, I get it. Hey, not everybody does. At least go visit their social media, hit the like, hit the follow, all that kind of stuff. Show them some love. It certainly helps. We appreciate it as well. Mike, we always have it here on tap for any special occasions, any sporting events, anything that comes down the pike. Very delicious beer made right here in Pittsburgh. And as it says on the can, grab a Duke.
Grab a Duke.
John says it's straight from the Three Rivers to the sea, baby. I see where that's going back to the last the question of the day, of course. 3 rivers to the sea. Mike was just one number off. Also, what else do we got here? Let me grab Chad real quick. He says, I just had to take a guess. I sensed since I wasn't even around in the 40s. Aaron Jade, Mike, there it is. Aaron Jade here to make Tuesday
we go.
right.
Needed
Thank you.
that.
Christopher says, my wife is Jewish. Israel became a nation May 14th, 1942. It's my wife's birthday. Also, Tyrone says, I posted JPJ video, on Instagram, and he watched my story. I really hope I meet him in training. That'd be freaking,
That'd be awesome.
It's a possibility. You could definitely meet him. Even Derpy even, he touched Jalen. Wait, who did?
It was Jalen Warren.
Was it Jalen Warren?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it. Yeah. It was. Even Derpy touched Jalen Warren. So you know what? It's not out of the question. I think that meeting JPJ certainly isn't out of the question at camp. My question, though, real quick about JPJ is this, Mike. You always see the brothers, the picture of Joey back in a Steeler uniform and holding JPJ in his right arm and the other brother in his left arm. Did the other brother play football? Does anybody know anything about the littler brother?
I have no idea.
Yeah, as far as he knows, I mean, you can walk into the Eaton Park tomorrow and a guy could be serving your. We don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But just being in North Allegheny again, dad and brother, don't hear much about the little brother.
No, that's yeah. I totally forgot about him.
Let's see. Let's go right here to Tyrone. He says, here we go, Steelers. Here we go, Pittsburgh, going to the Super Bowl. Here we go. I love it. Also, Steeler Freak says, Derpy isn't good for academic info. He knows the buy one, get one free stuff at local fast food restaurants. And I do also want to say, Christopher, that is awesome. A big fan of many Jewish entertainers. I can be honest with you. Mostly every Jewish person every entertainer that I like, whether it be music, shows, anything. They always tend to be Jewish at the end of the day. I don't know what that's about. They just are. Mike, to wrap things up for the day, I want to say this. I want to say, if you haven't had a chance, go check out our social media. You could keep up with what's going on with the two Dum Yinzers on a day-to-day basis. Visit us anywhere. We're at Facebook. We're on X, formerly known as Twitter, Instagram, Threads, and even TikTok. Swing by, hit the follow, hit the like, and as I said, keep up with what's going on with the show. Also, if you haven't had a chance, you do hit the like button down below. Hit the like button, hit the sub, the share, even leave a comment. It all helps in the algorithm, guys. We appreciate it all. Thank you. Let me see if anything else did come through here. Chris, let's go right here. Tyrone says, not sure, for real good question. Chad says, Chris, happy birthday to your wife. My birthday is Saturday, March 28th. I'll be turning 32. And I do want to give big happy birthdays to Chris, to Chad Schrader, and to Christopher's wife. I'm sorry. Squeech says, this Jerome Bettis Jr. is in college playing for Notre Dame. There's a handful of Steelers.
Went to Notre Dame.
I think there's about 5 of them that were on the team at the same time. I can't recall who they even are at the top of my head, Mike, but there's about 5 of them. I think Plexico Burris' kid, maybe Jerome Bettis' son.
Plex is Joe Burrow's Ike Jr. maybe.
Ike Taylor Jr. Yeah, Ike Taylor, his kid is there. Look it up, because there's about 5. Look it up, and I'll try to grab a few more messages while you do that. Let me see here. I just want to go back to Christopher's real quick. Okay, so her birthday is May 14, March 28th. Gotcha. March and May. Gotcha on that. Mike, what do you see?
I see Ike Taylor's kid, Jerome Bettis, and Burris' kid.
So there you go. All for Notre Dame. Plexico Burris, Jerome Bettis, and Ike Taylor's boys all play for the Irish. Tyrone, we appreciate that, sir. Stay safe. Peace out. Great show, my man. Always appreciate you. Always great seeing the goat Ty. But I do want to say also big happy birthday to Chad Schrader. Chad's turning 32, Mike. 32. Do you remember when you were 32?
Yeah, I had hair. My beard wasn't gray. I was like 60 pounds lighter. I was happy.
Yeah.
I didn't know you. That was a sad point.
Also, guys, Mike, what is your final thoughts today? RB was very insightful.
Yes.
A lot of good information by RB. Just top to bottom. Any final words, Mike? Your thoughts on today's show?
Keep building the offensive line, boys. Just keep doing it, and Steeler fans embrace it, because this is how you build a team, inside out. Get your trenches, and then get everything else. And we have pieces everywhere. Just finish it up with the O-line, man.
All right. I couldn't agree more. I do want to say to everybody, thank you so much for coming and hanging out and checking us out today. We certainly appreciate each and every one of you. We truly, honestly do. We wouldn't do it without you guys. I want to say thank you so much to everybody on the board. You guys always keep things interesting on the show, guys. We wouldn't trade you for anything. You are the lifeblood of the show. We thank you so much, as we do every day. You are the best. You are the lifeblood. We say it every day. We mean it every day. Thank you. I also want to say big thank yous to everybody that's at home, maybe in the car, the gym, the workplace, whether you're watching, whether you're listening. We thank you too. You guys are the best. You rock our world. And again, we just hope that we could do a fraction of that back for you. Then it'll feel like we were doing what we wanted, what we set out to do. So thank you so much, guys. Everybody, you were truly amazing. I can't thank you enough. So thank you so much. Mike, we got tomorrow. Tomorrow is hump day already. We got the Pirates. They're kicking off on Thursday with the series against the Mets to finally get their season started, to see maybe if these Pittsburgh Pirates really have it. We don't know. They look good in the preseason, Mike, because they wrapped up a 17-13 record out of 30 games they played in the Grapefruit League. 17-13. That's pretty good. So I'm going to be very anxious to see how they look against the Mets, the Reds, and then coming home against the O's the following week. So a lot going on with our sports here in Pittsburgh, as the Penguins also, Mike, they are hosting the Avalanche today at 7 o'clock. They're sitting at 35, 19, and 16. Just a handful. I think a little less than a month, I do believe, is the hockey season. But then once that's over, you got NHL playoffs. You got NBA playoffs. Everything gets going at one time. You have the also, Mike, through the end of the week, into the weekend, March Madness picks back up. Those 2 rounds coming this week. And that other soccer team from Pittsburgh, that other football team, the soccer squad, the Pittsburgh Riverhounds, Mike, they are back at it tomorrow in that U.S. Open tournament game, being made up for last week on the bad weather. It got delayed, so that is tomorrow. A whole lot of stuff going on with our Pittsburgh teams, Mike, but none more important than our Pittsburgh Steelers. We'll be sure to stay on top of everything going on there to have all that ready to talk about tomorrow and much, much more, as we will be back at our regular time to do it all over again, Mike, at a hump day. Again, just 30 days away. Tomorrow, we will be officially in the 20s. Tomorrow will be 29 days till the NFL draft.
I can't wait. It needs to get here. I'm fucking excited for it, man. I'm salivating. My nipples are lactating. I'm ready to go.
Chad says this. I have a brain fart on one guy that played for Notre Dame. He played defensive end. Tuitt, yeah. Stephon
Tuitt, baby.
Absolutely. I love Tuitt. I wish that he could have had a longer career here. Mark Malone says, when did the Jews do the USS Liberty? I don't know. I'm on my way out the door.
I think that's a good ending to the show right there.
I'm on my way out the door. Catch me with that early tomorrow. We'll try to address that.
And we'll get back to you on that one. We'll put that one on the back burner.
1967. Gotcha.
Jesus.
And you know what? Another interesting thing about 1967, Mark, that was the year that the Pittsburgh Penguins were founded. The Pittsburgh Penguins, 1967. The Pirates, of course, the 1890s. The Steelers, 1933. And those Penguins, Mike, 1967.
The Penguins have the most Stanley Cup wins from any team when the expansion era started.
Hey, they're tough. They're always one of the best, man. Let's hope they can get back at it this year. I think that's everything for today. Again, we'll be back tomorrow at our regular time to do it all over again. We hope to see everybody then. Mike, one more time, I'm going to throw it to you. Speak now, forever hold your peace. All right. Again, I want to give big thank yous to RB. He'll be with us again more and more as we get closer to the draft and as Chop becomes available to him as well. I can't wait. Also, Mike, don't forget that Big Ben was on the Joe and Debo show today. Go check that out. See what they had to say. We'll be talking about that and so much other stuff tomorrow, Mike. I can't wait to be back to get into everything. Just 30 days away from the NFL draft. It's unbelievable. For Derpy, for Finch, for RB, for Chop, Mike, myself, and the 2 Dum Yinzers. Everybody have a great Tuesday, and we'll see you tomorrow.